you were saying that hearing us talk normally does or doesn't sound like the podcast? It
sounds just like the podcast.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah. When we first started doing the show, you know, I felt like I was fucking terrible. Chris had already been doing radio for a while, so I was just trying to catch up with them the whole time. And then for a while, I started to like get into the groove, and it affected my cadence outside of the pod, like just walking around in the world. Like when I would get confident, it affected that. So I remember one time we were at that bar in Whistle Stop in South Park, and I'm talking to this hipster chick, and we're talking, and I'm like saying something, and then she's like, "Are you a stand-up comedian?" I'm like, "No, why? Am I funny?" She's like, "No."
But maybe your presentation or whatever.
Yeah, but it was very, so now I feel like it's like a lot of the artist's journey is about like, at first you're trying to be on stage, and then you have normal you because you think normal you is not interesting enough. And then eventually these two worlds ideally converge. Where you like live on stage.
Or that's the goal anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I told Fame. That because he was having difficulty trying to understand the bridge between being a professor, having his, you know, his freaking doctorate or pursuing whatever, having that and then being a rapper and then be able to bridge the two. I said there is no bridging. Like,
yeah, it's got to be one and the same.
But not even he's just you. That is who you are. So when you're talking, even when you're talking as a teacher, you have a certain speed that you talk. You have certain breaks in between that you use that you have learned from rapping.
Did he believe you?
Yeah.
He did that. He did that. That Fame.
Oh yeah, seen that many times.
That's interesting. That's quite interesting, Curtis. Probably.
I'm probably smarter than all of you.
I could see that.
You're out. Oh, what did I
what happened?
Oh, there you go.
There it is. What happened? Where did I go? What happened?
I don't know.
All right. Okay. We should probably start the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't flush the toilet.
You are now tuned in to the Crappy Awesome Podcast.
And welcome to another highly intellectual episode of the Crappy Awesome Podcast. We are your hosts, the Diego Brown Project. I am Mr. Arash, even though nobody calls me Mr. And with me is KILLcRey, even though we'll just call him Chris.
Hey, yeah.
We're, of course, brought to you by Platform Collection. The wonderful folks over at platformcollection.com are bringing you all kinds of essays and music videos. And, I mean, they're not making all of the music videos. And by they, I mean we.
Right.
But it's also them.
It's them.
There's a staff. There's a team.
They.
This mysterious, all-knowing, all-producing day.
It's just muds.
It's mostly muds.
Yeah.
But there's tons of content on there. Just make sure you go over to platformcollection.com and check out all the other stuff that's on the website. And while you're there, you can check out our sibling podcasts. There's Culture Sessions hosted by Melathion and Archive and produced by Spock Beats. The 2Mex Hologram podcast. This amazing, amazing thing that has also spawned into 2Mex Hologram Radio. Ooh, that was good. The podcast, of course, is normally on Platform Collection. 2Mex Hologram Radio is on K-Day, late night, Saturday night at like 1 a.m. And then the week after it's on K-Day, it comes on to platformcollection.com. So you can catch it there if you don't live in LA and can't catch K-Day.
Yep.
There, yeah, you probably listen online and shit, right? You can pretty much listen to any radio station these days.
All our shows are on Stitcher, iTunes, and TuneIn. Every single one.
We're superior to K-Day.
Yes.
Gotcha. Proof of Life Radio, hosted by KILLcRey and Kali.
Yeah.
Life on the Road with 60 East. We don't have a thing for that.
No, we don't.
Okay. Skipping the next one. Really, though, with Cookbook.
Really, though. You just saw Cookbook.
I did.
Cookie Bookie.
I did. Shot the hell out of him.
Really?
Right there on the street.
He loves pictures.
With my Nikon. I didn't actually shoot Cookbook. Everybody calm down. Orchestrated with Noah James and Lisa J.
Killing it.
We're usually the...
They have like a... Oh, yeah.
Status Escalate with Kali, the Ghetto Blaster podcast with Ricochet and Jen Johnson.
Yeah.
And the as of yet to be announced podcast about the battle.
Yeah, coming soon. I just talked to them. Says they have some
more mysterious
some good things to announce in next week.
Yeah. You said that last week and then the week.
It's on them, man. Hey, can't do anything.
I gotcha. I mean, it's not like we've been announcing a podcast for the past 2 years that never actually started by a very well-known individual in the independent hip-hop scene.
Yeah. Any day now.
That would be weird if we did that for 2 years and then shows just never came. Well, one. On Instagram, follow us at Platform Collection. That is one word, all spelled out. And on Twitter, at Platform Collect.
Notion.
With Notion. Shout out to Tor Project, open source privacy platform. They are working tirelessly. Well, we confirmed it's probably not tirelessly. They're just kind of working at it. To bring you a more private web browsing experience so that you don't feel like every move you make online is being documented somewhere. Personally, I think, good luck to you. It's probably a losing battle, but it's good that somebody's out there trying.
Somebody's trying. Somebody's got to fight that fight.
Yeah.
Because you don't know coding.
I don't know Cody
so
at
you
all.
need them to do that for you.
I don't know who this Cody is. I don't know why they keep calling me. And of course, not on Platform Collection, but connected because me. Burner Podcast. That's over at burnerpodcast.com about the Burning Man community and all that kind of stuff. Make sure to check that out. Hosted by yours truly.
Yeah. And this week you have Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Yeah. The rest of the band couldn't make it. But Steven was really gracious.
Right.
He brought me one of his scarves.
Sweet.
And we set it on fire.
That's dope.
Watch
They should
people
check that out.
fly out of it. Absolutely. Steven Tyler was not on.
Go there now. Check it out.
I'm not gonna
look for it.
Yeah.
Listen to every episode because it's hidden in an episode.
The last episode was about the parking team.
The parking team
At Utopia.
Staying on the cutting edge, I see.
It's the team that does the parking.
Okay, cool.
But it's really, the episode is about how to make that job sexy. And they succeeded in doing that. So they're like, the leadership behind it was like, we're going to brand it. They're called Road Warriors. They wear all black.
Oh, right on.
Like, they're like hardcore about it. Like, they pay full price for their tickets and they still volunteer like 12 hours a day because they're just so into it. Yeah.
They have to pay full price and park cars?
Well, it started that way, but now they get
yeah, they should get a
discount.
freebie.
Now they get a discount. But yeah, but no, they
Does anybody get freebies?
Yeah, it depends on what level
Like
of
level of staff?
Yeah, what level
Okay.
you're working. If you're there, like building the city and then coming, you're gonna get a free ticket.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. And then there's people that get paid too. They're staff.
That'd be cool if everybody had to pay, and then like people who build stuff like would constantly get thrown out because they didn't want to pay.
So that, you know what, that happens with DJs. I mean, they don't get thrown out. But
Really?
there's DJs that get upset that they have to pay. They're like, I have to come perform.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, well, okay, well, we can just spit and hit another DJ.
but we
so.
didn't all invite you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, tell them about the Stitcher and iTunes and all
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spreaker, go over to crappyawesome.com. You can hear every episode all the way back to 67.
Ooh.
No, 67 is on Platform Collection, right? That's what you figured out?
Yeah.
And then all the way back to 0 on
crappyawesome.com.
Which I don't know how long we're going to keep that around.
The crappyawesome.com?
Yeah.
You think at some point we're just going to expunge the...
I feel like it's coming soon.
Really? We're just going to just throw 66
Maybe it'll be
episodes
just...
out?
No, it'll just be a page with all the episodes, and that's it.
Well, what's on there now?
There's like a little background on us and some other stuff.
I mean, it seems like it's not hurting anybody.
I feel like you need to update it.
Okay.
Because you started that page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. But anyways,
Update our
guys,
profiles.
thank you so much for supporting. As I said before, you can catch every show on the network on iTunes, Stitcher, or TuneIn Radio. And you guys keep supporting, and the numbers keep growing because of you guys. Thank you so much for all of that. Also, keep your ear on the streets. Got some dope events coming up real soon in January. We're going to be doing a Platform Collection show. It's getting sealed and delivered as we speak. So make sure you look out. It's going to be a hybrid performance talk show type thingy.
Oh.
Yeah, so it should be good.
Hybrid.
Hybrid.
It's like a half-breed.
It's a half-breed.
Mutant.
Not as good as normal people.
No. It's the island of Dr. Moreau.
Right.
All over again.
Right. Crappy awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
There you go. Yo,
Right.
Curtis King is back. I feel like we just saw you, which I like because mostly in the past it's been like a year break, right?
Yeah.
Like since you've been on the show.
It's been every episode is a drastic change in my life.
Yeah. How big of a change are we talking now?
The biggest.
Yeah, it seems like you've come into some new knowledge, some new feelings on things. Jubilee
Year.
Yeah.
That's the project. December 2nd, pre-orders out right now, myjubileeyear.com.
I was looking out my window, thinking about my kinfolk, reminiscing when I had no bills and this was simple. Ride around with heel foot, in the sec with Centro. Back when I'm at Absol, rapping with no pencil. Back when all my ends low, working out of Quiznos. Before I had credentials, I had to hit that limbo. Before I was a superstar, sentimental, I had to hit the coin store just to get some wind shows.
When I play this for my mama, she's so proud of me. I play this for my nana, she's so proud of me. I play this for myself and I'm so proud of me. I play this for my haters that was down to me.
Can you sleeping on yourself? 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 Can you sleeping on yourself?
If you a hater and you listening, I take it as a compliment. I know you got no common sense, so you just stay anonymous. I'm gonna do the opposite. That's called that confidence. R.I.P. to Tommy, I got money though I'm jobless. Ooh, I love the sound of this. You don't love the sound of this? What's wrong with you? You know we spent our time on this. The radio gon' say this song is probably coming too slow. DJ Head gon' ask me how I play this after 2 show.
When I play this for my mama, she's so proud of me. I play this for my nana, she's so proud of me. I play this for myself and I'm so proud of me. I play this for my haters that was down to me.
Can you sleeping on yourself? 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 Can you sleeping on yourself?
King.
Yeah. I be cool as cool can be, but people still be rude to me. I be looking cluelessly like, ain't that just so humanly? This year gon' be my jubilee, indubitably. And you can't stop my jubilee, so back up, let me do my thing. I'm shining like some jewelry. I don't need your jeweler piece. When you took my car and you took my home, you know you made a super me. King me, that's what you can do for me. King me, that's why I'ma reign supreme.
When I play this for my mama, she's so proud of me. I play this for my nana, she's so proud of me. I play this for myself and I'm so proud of me. I play this for my haters that was down to me.
If you want, now you sleeping on yourself. You sleeping on yourself. Say you sleeping on yourself. Sleep if you want, cause you sleeping on yourself. You sleeping on yourself. I say you sleeping on yourself.
I was told about this story earlier in the year from a friend of mine that I've known since middle school.
Yeah.
And this is before 2016 he started kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Right? And most of my friends can attest to 2016 being one of the toughest
It
years
was a
for
rough
them.
one. Yeah.
Just in their own way, whether it's deaths or whether it's just losing things. And a friend of mine told me this story, and he said it in a way like he thought that I should have already known the story. He was like, you know, it's a Jubilee year, right? And I was like, the hell does that mean?
That's 2016 was.
So 2016 is a Jubilee year.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so what kind of significance does that have?
Other than X-Men.
Other than X-Men, because Jubilee with the sparks in her fingers and the yellow, trench coat.
I'm gonna tell you. Can I tell you where I first heard it?
Yeah.
The show in Vegas.
No, there was a movie. I want to say
X-Men.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew that.
Denzel Washington, where it was about the first
Glory. Yeah.
Glory.
In Glory, there's a scene where the guy, he's saying something in the year of Jubilee, and he throws his hair up, and he throws his hat up, and he runs off. And that was the first time I'd ever hear that.
The word Jubilee.
He said we're in the year of Jubilee.
So what is the year Jubilee?
So the year of Jubilee, as it was described to me, is a story in the book of Leviticus where there's a group of people who were enslaved for 50 years, and every 50 years their property was took from them. They were basically their property, their belongings, a bunch of things were just taken away from them for 50 years. So they were like grandparents that went to jail in the first year that wasn't going to see when the Jubilee Year would come back, because when the Jubilee Year came back after 50 years, your debts were forgiven and your property was returned to you. Only problem is the property was owned by somebody else. During that time that you were in jail was owned by probably generations of people, 50 years.
Yeah.
So you literally had to go fight back for the things that were yours. So this year, I think about the things that I have lost. You talking about, and it's really something that's really based more so in property and possessions. So you start thinking about like any kind of repos that you've had, or repossessions, or evictions. Where I said in the song, 2 evictions, 3 repos. These properties have been taken away from me, and I'd had to sacrifice and do my own time. And in the 50th year, your debt is forgiven, but in order to get your property, you got to go back and you got to fight for it. So this entire year has been a fight for me on a spiritual level. This fight has been for me on a, trying to prove the validity of what I am saying about value and about how that can be instituted in hip hop. Trying to, make the argument for entrepreneurship merging together with hip hop, and trying to make an argument that doesn't really get mirrored by individuals that don't think like, for you, I could talk this all day long, but I talk to another artist who's just like, yeah, that sounds cool, but just keep doing your thing. I'm not involved in that. And even to be honest with you, I was talking to a buddy of mine an hour ago, and he was asking me, is there any favors that I can call in to kind of help promote the project? And I'm like, really, no, because a lot of people have turned their back on me because they feel like I've given away all the secrets. Like I've given away all the value, and I've sort of drowned that mystery between the fan and the rapper, or the rapper up and coming and the rapper that made it. But for me, it's Jubilee Year. It's Jubilee Year, and this is the year that we get back all the things that we've lost. And for me, if it was my self-confidence, it was being in business situations where I felt like I wasn't in control of my business. It was letting people determine what I can or can't do. It was letting people tell me who I could be and what was wrong with the person I already was. And in this year, like, we all have dealt with it, but I really feel like now I'm starting to see the fruits of those sacrifices, but I had to fight for it this year, the whole year through. But now at the end of the year, I'm like, it's almost like, I showed you what the value of giving. I showed you what it means to give actual value and not just give $1 here to a charity. This is what it is. And the fruit of that now is all of these pre-orders popping up from other artists and producers. And you talk to anybody, and especially in our region, they're like, rappers don't buy projects. Right. Producers don't buy projects. And I'm not naive, so I said, okay, but I bet you they'll buy it if there's some kind of incentive. So I said, you know what? Free FL Studio course, free drum kits, free 15-minute consultation, 3 beat reviews for producers. Pick one of them. And from there, if you just basically purchase my EP for $2.99, send me a screenshot, I'll send it over to you.
Wow.
And then they said, okay. Rappers, I said, I'll give you a free beat. Something that would generally cost $80 to lease, as well as my website building course, as well as the I'll do 3 song reviews. People always ask me to listen to their music, and I just never do it.
And they get that for
$2.99.
$2.99.
$2.99. So
how did you come up with that price point?
So
wait, $2.99?
Yeah, $2.99. That's the price of the pre-order. Okay. It's a 7-song EP. Okay, so when you have an EP, many people may or may not know, when you have an EP, 7-something songs, iTunes or TuneCore actually gives you the option of what songs do you want to come with that initial pre-order.
Right. So, like bonuses and stuff.
Bonuses, right? So if you only make one song available, it makes it the cheapest price point possible. You make more songs available, to them that's giving away too much of the value, so then the price goes up. So I started experimenting with it, and I was like, damn, $2.99. I was like, that's the lowest that I can ask for. To me, it's not. This whole thing is not about the money. This is not even about me giving away anything. I'm not giving away anything. It didn't cost me to make the FL Studio courses except for time. Time is a valuable asset, but I did it. And then I gave them that option, and I said, look, here's how we exchange value. I've been giving you value all year long. And in all of these videos, you don't see me trying to sell anything to anybody. You don't see me saying, well, if you want the real secrets, get this mastery course, you know, and upsell. I didn't do that because to me, it was more important that they know that it's an authentic individual and that my information and my proof of concept sold that. But this time I had to do hard selling. I had to literally close a deal in a lot of situations and say, look, I've been giving you this value. And you know that what I'm saying is valid because you tell me the difference it's made in your life.
Yeah.
I'm asking you for one thing this year. And I'm not even asking you for that and not attaching it to something else with value. I'm saying, give me this one thing because I want to make it top 10 in iTunes. I feel like that would be such a statement for an individual like me that has been in a lot of ways, depending on how you look at it, outcasted by a lot of folks within the industry. I think it would be the ultimate statement of, it's a changing of the guard.
Yeah.
Things don't have to be the way they were for independent artists. When I came on here a few shows ago, I was angry because I was so mad at the status quo and everything that was going on. I'm at a point now where it's like I can confidently and assertively move forward with everything because I see the proof of concept. And it's like, even if this is not top 10, the next one is going to blow that one out the water. The next one's going to blow that out the water because I'm never going to stop giving value. Yeah. You know, so that's a long-winded answer.
Talk a little bit about because obviously you mentioned it a little bit about people feeling that you're giving away the secrets.
Right.
Where have you felt that from the most? Like, how's that presenting itself to you?
Well, I mean, social media is one way to do it, to where you'll get these offhanded comments about, the game is to be, sold and not told. And you'll get people just saying things. And there's people that I know I've had these conversations with and they didn't get it. And not to even name names, but if you even got like a few industry dudes that just started unfollowing me. When I started doing the artist marketing and the producer motivation videos.
Wow.
But before I got started, I already made a commitment to myself. And I said, that's part of the process. That was when I'm not looking for validation from them. I'm looking to do something that's genuinely to help people.
Yeah.
And when I made the commitment, I said, okay, it's almost like you walking across the street and you see a mailbox. I'm going to go to that mailbox. Oh, man, be careful. Some crazy shit can happen if you cross the street. Okay, I'm crossing the street.
Yeah.
Man, be careful because a car can fly out of the way. A kid on a bike can hit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm going here. So this is what all this is happening. It's just byproducts of doing something that is different. Even hearing Tony Robbins the last weekend say that most people in life are not actively trying to pursue change.
Yeah.
So their only thing is to rebel against yours.
Right.
They put more energy towards that.
Right.
Me knowing that before I get started, I'm like, no, that's easy. Yeah. If an unfollow happens because of this, if you stop networking with me because I choose to give information, we were never in cahoots because you don't understand the person I am.
Right.
I've always been giving, except now this is the way that I'm choosing to give because that's my purpose is to give. And if you get offended by it, it says a lot about the kind of stuff that you're doing. Because here I am seeing the people in other industries, listening to other podcasts and hearing folks say, millionaires day after day saying, what is your stream of income? And they'll say, oh, I have this and I have this and I have teaching. And I'm like, how is it that a millionaire has all of this time to teach?
Yeah. Yeah.
But rappers can't find a few seconds to show somebody how to write 16 bars?
Yeah.
Nah, not if they're not part of my crew. I can't give them the knowledge. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, you know what? I'm going to be the guy that gets out there and, in some ways, I'm like, and it's so mild in comparison to what I'm about to say, but like the sacrificial lamb in all of that. But it's like, it's so mild. Like, I get a few, negative comments on YouTube, but most of it is positive because people are coming there looking. The right people are coming, and I'm attracting the right people. So I do feel that energy, especially when I see people that I haven't seen in years, and it's just kind of that like it's not as warm as it was when they think that I needed them for information.
Yeah,
now it's like I become that voice within the industry, and then so you got to think a lot of producers have already washed their hands with me when they saw me doing the leasing of my beats, because in the producer community, that's in the industry at least, they look at somebody leasing their beats for $19 or $39, and look at what I'm doing as like cheapening the craft. They don't see the business model in it, right? And I always said it's like the CEO of Starbucks, poking his nose up at the CEO of Walmart. are, you know, a Walmart looking down on 99-cent store.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we're all businesses. You worry about yours, I worry about mine. That's the way I had it.
Yeah.
But I do feel that, and it's something that it doesn't drive me anymore. It doesn't anger me. For me, it's just like, you exist. You're part of that. I'm going across the street to get to that mailbox.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop that from happening. Yeah. And when somebody sees the proof of content, I'm telling you right now, we crack this top 10. When it happens, you're going to see a domino effect of people that you never would have expected. Sure. And you're already starting to see it. Even when I seen Usher has a dance course where he's teaching you how to be a live performer.
Yeah, I was just telling Arash about that.
Masterclass, right?
Masterclass.
And I'm like, why are they tagging me in this?
Yeah.
So you can dance?
And I'm saying, right? and my initial thing is, because they look at me as somebody who's leading the way on that already.
Yeah. Right.
So for him to do it, for them, it's like, damn, I'm starting to run out of excuses. First, it was he's giving away all the secrets. Then it's like, well, Usher's doing it over here for, $59.99 or whatever he's doing it for. Then it's like, what happens when that person's hero? What happens when your homie starts doing it? What happens when all this happens? What it's going to do is, if you truly love hip hop, you'll understand that is the way that you preserve any culture. It has to be a not just recycling of information, but you have to institute that into the new generation. You have to give them stuff that they can go off of. You can't just send them on wild goose. It has to be accessible. You can't keep sending them on wild goose chases. Everybody's trying to play the 48 laws, and they're trying to play that in hip hop, and they don't even understand themselves, better yet, the laws. And it's like, you got to know the backstory of that actual book too if you're gonna sit up there and play those laws. This dude made this book acting like a bitter bitch.
Yeah.
He was acting bitter as hell because he couldn't get anybody to take on his screenwriting.
Yeah.
And then made this bitter book, which was genius. It's genius by all means. And then made a book called Mastery to kind of go against a little bit of that. So he's like, no, you do have to be a good person, guys. I know I might have sent you on the wrong thing. But it's like...
But initially it came from
a place of rage.
Yeah.
And so when I know that and I see that, and he even admits to that, I'm looking at it like, okay, I see a lot of my peers who are acting like that. And I'm just like, that's just not the way. It's not the way that's going to get things forward. It's not the way that's going to preserve the same culture that you think people are trying to attack and trying to kill off. And, it's dumbing down the culture. It's like, well, what are you doing to actually ensure that this culture goes on strongly?
Right.
Kids are like saying...
Other than complaining.
To me, it's like, how if you see like the RoboCop 2s and RoboCop 3s, and you see like the kid who took over the underground, the sewer, whatever community, whatever, like he's taking it over, and he's like the leader now, and this is kid. That's literally how it is with hip hop now, where it's like, we look at that and say, how the hell does this kid get all of this power on social media and he's getting these songs and all of that? And it's because now they're just picking up the remnants of what they see, and they're like, I'm going to just use this. I'm going to be the anti-this.
Yeah.
And then it becomes that, and then it's like, everybody's like, oh my God, where in the hell did he come from? And it's like, it's a byproduct of not teaching anything.
Yeah.
You want him to just know that shit just because it's out there? And why should he care?
Yeah.
Because part of the knowledge is not just knowing who Biggie and Tupac is and who, Rock is. It's not just knowing that.
Right.
It's knowing why they should care. What significance does that have to them? You explain that to them, then you start instituting a little bit of pride into them. You institute that pride into them, certain things start to change within the way that they're speaking.
Yeah.
Because then they don't say things in a certain way with songs. They don't talk a certain way. They don't dumb down certain things. They want to do something differently. But if you're not teaching it, I don't mean just doing a 2-week course where you're teaching people how to write 16s. That's a great start. But I'm talking about give them shit that is actually they can take with them.
Yeah.
That they can actually do something with. And that's what I dedicated my last year to doing, is giving them information that wasn't just, hey guys, this is how you get this is how you make a split sheet. Like, no, like that doesn't interest me. My thing is, let you understand the business, the true business of the leasing beats. Let me let you understand things like, how to get over analysis paralysis. Where you're overanalyzing everything. You're asking for all these opinions and, oh my God, can you tell me about my song? And doing nothing.
Right.
How can I help you get over that? That to me is more important than anything else. So, that was my point with it.
Do you think, I'm sorry. Do you think, have you felt like industry blockage, like for like people putting up walls around? Have you already felt like, has it affected money? Has it affected?
Oh, no. Because at the end of the day, like they can't bypass that because I don't want what they have.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, is that I wanted it. at a point in time. I wanted it a year ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to literally be a star. Like I wanted to, have all the things that I started this music for. I thought that was last year was my Jubilee year. Like, oh, it's going to all come together. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case because of where I was going. Had success happened, it would have been the worst thing possible that could have happened to me.
What do you think the result would have been?
The best example I can say is, because I don't know what it would have been. I just know that I wouldn't have been, I would have been depressed. I would have been even more depressed because I was depressed, even more depressed than what I was. But there's an atheist on my Facebook that said the most spiritual thing I ever heard. And he said, how do you know that what you're praying for is what I actually need? And this might not be he said, how do you know that that's not the biggest curse for me?
Right.
Pray for me to get a house. Pray for me to get a house. And then I get a house that I can't pay the electricity bills for because it's a 2-story house and I can't afford it.
Right. Then you're worse off than you were before.
And then it's like, oh, what do you mean you can't take care of that blessing? Like, that's a blessing but it's like I didn't ever ask for that.
Yeah.
So to me, I look at that and say, maybe it would have been a situation where I would have had my name circulated. I would have been in the mix of all the stuff going on in LA. And maybe I just wouldn't. I know I wouldn't have been fulfilled. That's the most important to me. I don't know what the details of it would have been, but I know that I would have been even more depressed, and I probably wouldn't even be here, honestly, because I know how that. I didn't even jump. It's like I didn't even jump my foot fully in the door, but I smelled an aroma out the room to where it was enough to where it's like, that's not for me. I'm good. I know why people lose their mind in that industry.
Yeah.
Right. I know what it is, because if you don't go in there knowing who you are, if you have just even a shadow of doubt of who you are,
it's going to tear you apart.
It's going to tear you apart. And it's not even about, people always talking about secret side. It's not even about secret side. It's just, you got to get past the self-esteem thing first. Right. You just got to get past people, tearing you down and doing it on a daily basis, and you still having to institute some kind of, positive affirmations in your life, and then being told when you're a light of positivity that you're actually standing out more and you're actually, you're less powerful. Like that. So there's a lot of mental games that go on within that. And I'm just talking about the very top layer of the industry. I can imagine deeper and deeper. But for me, it was like, what do I really want? Do I want the fame? Because that was at my fingertips. Mm-hmm. I have access to any rapper that you can think of in LA and all. But what does that mean? What does that mean? As I'm taking these Instagram photos and I'm on red carpets, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean in my story of when I come home and we still got bills that ain't been paid, and I can't pay them because I'm taking multiple trips to LA trying to, rub shoulders with. But then I had to ask the question too: why am I here? I'm trying to build a fan base. The fans are not here.
Right.
The influencers are here, which is great, but
the fans are not there.
They have their influence over their audience.
Yeah.
I don't need their audience. I need to gain my audience the same way that they gain their audience. Obviously, some of that is, messing with other influencers that they gain theirs, but I need to gain my audience, and it needs to be something that is based upon what I do and not who I know.
Yeah.
I've done that my whole career. I've been Curtis King, the Ab Soul producer.
Yeah.
People will refer to me not by my name. They'll just say I'm the Ab Soul producer. And it's like, is that really my story? And is my story just my credits? For some people, they're like, yeah, cool. I'm grateful for it. But it's like, some people are like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
For me,
that wasn't the plan. Right.
The interviews that we've had and stuff we talked about, and you guys being like, man, I wrote a lot of stuff you were saying down. That's not by accident. And I think that I was doubting myself in a lot of ways, and that was contributing to the doubt, because I feel like, I'm gonna keep quoting Tony Robbins. I'm sorry on this show.
And I want to talk. I definitely want to talk about that conference. Yeah. I'm really interested.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But he said there's 6 things that people, every human being needs, and it basically determines your whole value system. He said the first one is certainty. We need to be certain about things. We need uncertainty so we don't get bored, like we were talking about earlier. We need significance. We need love and connection. One of those two, love or connection. We need growth, and we need contribution. We need to contribute to something. Yeah. I feel like we're contributing. If we meet any of those needs, then basically, like, from a business aspect, you can serve a community if you're meeting one of those needs. And the thing was, my need last year, my top need was significance. Yeah. I want to feel like, Curtis King is more than just the credits. Right. And that drove me to, what do I really, really want? I want the love and connection. On a deeper level, like a lot of the love I probably didn't get from my pops. Mm-hmm. And I needed that love and connection. And so I was getting it in other ways, whether it was social media, whether it was people yelling at the shows. And because my energy was so want, need, people went the opposite way a lot of times. Yeah. because it wasn't genuine. Yeah. But now identifying that and being able to restructure it and say, you know, growing is definitely one of my biggest things. I just love to see growth within my life. Uncertainty is a big one too. But when you determine that, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm able to see it now from a very clear lens. But those are the needs that need to be met. And most people are going about the wrong things because they're trying to meet those needs in the wrong ways. You know, some people want the feeling of, you know, certainty, so they drink because they know what happens when you get drunk. You know what I mean? I know that
fake confidence,
right? So me understanding that now, it put me in a better space, but it can only happen after I went through what I went through. And that's why, like, Jubilee Year is so important to me, because I think it speaks to so many different people who have their own story when it comes to Jubilee.
Yeah.
Or something to be jubilant about.
Do you, when you look at, because you mentioned a little bit, like here, obviously LA is on the West Coast, LA is such a, like, an epicenter. And a lot of people will put weight on your significance if you're within that circle, because they're, like, on the front page of the paper.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Whereas the rest of the communities, exactly. So do you feel, because it's as an outsider looking in, I look at the situation with you, there's a few artists that I've thought about this over the years, and I'm like, why aren't they being, like, openly invited into this circle?
I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why, because nobody cares until somebody they cares about cares.
Yeah.
And those people don't care until you're elevating at a different level that they can understand.
Right.
It's not just about having the hot song, because that's enough for a feature. It's not enough about just, you know, making a few dollars because a bunch of people got money who are just goofballs. It's about being able to talk in a certain language and be in a certain energy level to where they know being around you is going to actually be beneficial to their energy more so than just their finances. A bunch of people who can make money that are assholes.
Yeah.
Right? It's promoters that'll pay them, you know, and they don't want to do those shows ever again. So I think that in order to influence the people who influence the influencers, you have to elevate at a different level. You got to just be big somewhere. The biggest problem, I learned this from Grant Cardone, the biggest problem for any business, and I just equate it to any artist in general who's up and coming, your biggest problem is obscurity.
Yeah.
It's not who you know. It's not, you know, the networking. That's a byproduct of what you're supposed to be doing. Right. But that happens. Networking happens if you sitting at a bar, you know, say at the Reverie show, we sitting at a bar and this guy with a camera is like, hey, man, you mind if I kind of get in that corner and get this shot? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Hey, that camera's pretty dope. What kind of camera is it? Like, that's part of networking. Nobody thinks that, but it's like it's part of networking. Because then he'll look at me at another show and be like, you were at that one Reverie show. Right. Oh, man, what do you do? So understanding that, I'm now where it's like, I don't know, I understand now why there's no open arms into it, because they have no reason to do it.
Right.
Why? What for? What? Who? I mean, as much as I do, so what? I'm dope. So what? I'm talented. Who gives a damn? Right? For them to care, it has to be something so big to what's going on.
You have to bring something to the table.
You got to bring something to the table that they saw
they don't have.
That they don't have.
Right.
Because the thing about it is, once you have something going, they want to feel like they're the first to be having access to it.
I can't be everything, but I try to be. Superhuman for everyone that provides for me. At my expense, I overlook if I am getting love, cause I am giving love, cause I got inner love, but I gotta check my temperature. I don't know what's going on with me this month. I've been worried more than usual with things I can't discuss. But I can't blame the police and I can't blame Trump. This depression been suppressed and I feel I'ma blow up. I should've never hopped on Facebook, it was all bad. Up and down my timeline, I probably should've fall back. All I saw was purging emotions from my friends and my contacts. I wanna help you all, but I can't give you what I don't have. Half my mind gone and I don't know how I can guide you. And just today I seen murder on a Vine loop. My lady lost 2 relatives in 1 week, so I can't save the world cause she needs me. And I can't be everything to everybody, and I can't be everything to everybody, but Lord knows I try. Lord knows I try. And I can't be everything to everybody, and I can't be everything to everybody, but Lord knows I try. Lord knows I try. The revolution's being televised, but my television off so they can't telefy. and being purely apathetic for my black life when I'm protecting black lives in my household. But I'm a sellout if I don't march a hashtag. I look my stepson in the eye, yet he laughs back. He said, this the best time that I ever had. And I refuse for him to grow up without a stepdad. And that gives me the energy when life licensed my enemies to injure me and stop me from ascending where I'm meant to be. I wanna save the world, but I'm way too weak. I've been driving all night and now my tank on E. People love negativity, you are what you eat. Social media's a feast, but I need my peace. I've been picking up the pieces of my self-esteem so I can make it a better world for you and me. And I can't be everything to everybody, and I can't be everything to everybody, but Lord knows I try. Lord knows I try. And I can't be everything to everybody, and I can't be everything to everybody, but Lord knows I try. Lord knows I try.
The God within often requires more than I know how. So I be jumping off edges of self in the meanwhile. These be my cliff notes. I lend several ledges out, trying to be legendary. Everything to everybody that I might save all, word to Paul. But I'm the irreverent reverend. Hold a silent reverence with a humble presence. Pull my power from within and multiply with alignment. Stay on assignment. There's a devil in the details. They leaving out the details so we don't see the enemy. You better be detective. Find out the weaknesses so when they raise a signal, strike like the wise serpents that be anti to their venom. With words that be accepting, springing forth from your fountain. The heartbeat a mountain. Call mine Zion. That's why I bless from. At the center be your lion. And the king too. No stressing on the throne. That's how the gods do.
Yeah, one of the greatest myths that they beat into all of our heads as children is that talent is limited. It's a limited commodity. Really there aren't that many people that are that special. Like there really are. There is an overabundance of amazing human beings on the planet with amazing talent and amazing abilities
and different wants and needs.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. So just simply being dope is just not enough.
It's not, and people are cool with that. It's like as long as I have a song that has 100,000, 200,000 plays, then they get there and they get to that extra level and they realize that it means nothing.
Yeah, nothing really changes.
Like even like videos on YouTube, it's like okay, cool, you get 200,000 views, monetize it, and all of a sudden you're making I don't know, $50-$60 on a video a month, and it's like, cool, that went straight to my phone bill. Okay, now what? Reality sets in. But I think also too, they just gotta see us. We have to do more too. Yeah. Even with our own audience. Like last night was the first night that I did a show that I came up with a full show set in the middle of an intermission at the Tony Robbins conference. And I said, this is my new show. I'm going to do this and I'm going to run it, and I'm not going to be apologetic about it at all. Yeah. But literally the beginning of the shows now, it's an extended intro, and before I get to rapping, before I get to introducing and make some noise, I'm making people get warm. I want them to get warm first. I don't need you to make noise for me. I don't know. I need you to get warm first. I need you to understand that I'm here for your benefit. I'm here to inspire something out of you. So the first thing I do is a minute, 2 minutes, where I'm literally having them close their eyes and imagine their life 20 years from now. But everything that they ever wanted came true. Yeah. Whether it's their house of their dreams, the car of their dreams, the kids, and I'm asking them, basically I'm walking them through their house, walk into the house, and I say, when you find a master bedroom, make some noise. Okay, I found it. Go inside the room, you're gonna notice somebody standing in the corner. And I said, when they're standing in the corner, ask them to turn around. They'll turn around, and you're gonna notice it's yourself 20 years from now. You're aged, but you look happy, but you got tears in your eyes. And I'm saying, why do you think you got tears in your eyes? And I explained it to him. I said, you have tears in your eyes because everything that you sacrificed right now, everything that you were doubtful about, they're saying thank you. Yeah. Because you ensured that I would get to where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be here if you don't take the risk you took. Right, right. So instilling that into them, you feel so warm by the first song. Then the actual song happens. And it's like, oh, God, the music is great. Okay, sweet. And then at the end of that, I say, do me a favor. Look to your neighbor. Some of you I got from church and from Tony Robbins is look to your neighbor, give him a high five. Immediately, energy's getting exchanged. Immediately, you're getting them warm. And not only that, look at your neighbor, somebody you didn't come with. Look at them and say, I'm glad that you made it out tonight. I'm glad that you made it out tonight. I hope you make it home safe. I hope you make it home safe. let's get into the song. And I ask, oh gosh, give me a high five. And we get into the song.
And now they're ready to go.
Now, instead of being the typical hip-hop crowd, because you know the hip-hop crowd, the hip-hop crowd is like, you know, do something impressive. We can't operate on that energy because everybody has a different definition of impressive.
Right.
But every human being knows what it feels like to make a connection with a stranger and to like loosen that self. So for me, I've been in search of this, and I had to experience this last 4 days, and it changed my life. It did change my life. I'm seeing the change. I'm feeling the change. And my energy level is just my goal now, I want people to feel electrified around me. I want them to feel something as opposed to me, you know, I've been in ways that in my life, but it's been remnants. I told somebody an example. I don't mean to go on this long monologue, but I told somebody that my life has been like this. It's been literally a snow cone in your hand, okay? And the snow cones, you know, you can put the flavor on the top and it has the colors on the top. You know, you could shave off the top, but it's still cold. In your hand, you're like, I still got a snow cone. Over the years, things happened to me and the top of my snow cones got shaved and I still have it in my hand. The ice even melts, but it's still cold. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm still a positive Curtis. I still got what I'm here for. And it took me going through that conference for me to realize that, you know, my bar had been set so low over time because of all the things that had happened that even though I was blowing a lot higher than a lot of people around me, it still wasn't as my capacity. I could blow so much more. And going there and, you know, I don't know, dancing and jumping around and walking on fire and all of this stuff that we did, like, it does something to you that when you come home, you're like, gotta step this shit up.
Yeah, I mean, I figure at the very least, right, on the lowest level, you're around a large amount of energy, right? People around you, and you're soaking it in. You're probably way open. Everybody there is way open, so they're having like this uninterrupted exchange of positive energy. There's no way that, because I've known a few friends who've gone to the Tony Robbins, and it's he stood the test of time for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
39
I've told people that forever because when people are like, that's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it's not arguable.
You know what's funny?
People in his position have come and gone.
Oh, sure.
Tons have been made jokes out of. Dude, he survived that. He survived when people were attacking him, and it didn't do anything to him.
He's done motivation with, you know, coaching with Reagan. And Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton called him the night before he was getting impeached.
Wow.
He tells that story all the time. He's like, even when Al Gore, you know, lost the election, you know, he talks about, he did a TED Talk, and then he made some kind of statement, and Al Gore raised his hand. He had no idea who it was, and he gave him like a smart rebuttal back, and he was like, Al Gore was like, okay, I understand. But he said he found out that was Al Gore. But I'm saying, like, even so much, it's not even so much just about the man itself. It's about what he's able to unleash in people. Because it's not about him giving you all this knowledge. He give you great knowledge, but he's telling you stuff that you innately know. He's just helping you connect the dots. One of the things he says is that there's a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills who makes millions and millions of dollars. And he says, you want to know what's crazy about my job is that literally everything somebody comes and wants to change is a 2 millimeter difference on average.
I've heard that.
You've heard that, right? So everything from like they want their nose to go a different direction. Their ear is a 2 millimeter difference. He said that 2 millimeter difference makes them feel like the person they could never be in life.
Absolutely,
So if that 2 millimeter difference just in physicality, imagine what it can do for you emotionally after the first day was 13 hours. The entire thing after 4 days was 50 to 60 hours.
Wow.
But you're so, you know, into it because you're not ever just sitting there for hours on end. He makes you jump up. You got to clap. We got to, you know, move the cells around in your body. And the first day, like, I didn't go eat. I sat there, I drank water, and I had my trail mix and my oranges. And not one time did I say, man, I really want to get something to eat out of this. Did I eat when I left? But the more you kind of had it, you realize that it was literally a spiritual detox. So I believe in it. Like, I believe it. Even, you know, hypnosis is something that I've been doing a lot of researching on because a buddy of mine does hypnosis for UFC fighters, and he calls it mindset training. And he took me under a few, you know, hypnosis sessions. It's not the put the, you know, the clock in front of your face and all of that bull, but it really
fully
is.
Aware of what's
you're
happening.
fully aware of what's happening, and you can break it at any point. But then it's that curiosity of, do I want to break it? Especially if this can equal to something that's a better me. And the whole time it was that. He took that same example that I told you for the intro for my shows. He took us through that. And everybody came out of the session, and he was like, how long do you think that was? Everybody was like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Everybody around me said 10, 20 minutes. He said, that was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're in a stadium full of 10,500 people.
That's a psychedelic experience.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. But it's like literally using what's already in you.
It is.
You didn't tell us to take no,
no
Kool-Aid or nothing like that.
But you can
the
trigger
example,
it.
Totally. The example that I've always given people, because I've had a lot of healing through psychedelic experiences, and I've also had a lot of healing through, spiritual experiences, therapy. I'm actually doing hypnotherapy next. I was telling Chris on the drive over here, I'm trading with a friend who, I'm doing some video work for her, and she's gonna help me out with some money stuff that I can figure out. The way that I always explain it to people, and DMT, for example, we've talked about. Imagine.
Sorry, cookbook.
Imagine.
He complains that we talk about
DMT too much. Imagine your subconscious is living like a house. Okay. You have your bedrooms upstairs. That's like the other parts of your subconscious. There's like your habits that are the hallways. There's all these doors. You need to move some furniture around in your living room. And there's different ways to move the furniture around. And you could do that through possibly your religious practices. You could do it through your art. You could do it through psychedelic mushrooms. You could do it through hypnotherapy. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're doing the same thing. You're going past the Windows interface, and you're getting into the DOS prompt, and you're reprogramming some shit.
The DOS prompt. Yes, I love it.
And if you have decided to open up to this, like I had a Tantra healing session.
Yeah.
Okay.
A friend of mine was getting Tantra counselor training. And I know when people hear Tantra, you think like immediately like fucking for 10 hours. It's a Tantra thing, but that's not all of Tantra practice. But yeah, it was, I kind of went under. It was a hypnosis thing. And like after I came out of it, I've definitely had a shift that has come out of this experience. And what it comes down to is that if you open yourself up to it, you really accept that you're going to dive into this thing and you're not fighting it. You can make those shifts.
Like with anything.
With anything.
Well, we do it. If people want to talk about how hypnosis is fake. And it's like, well, why do you like Coca-Cola?
Right.
Why do you like Colgate? Of all the toothpastes in the world, why that one? Why do you always go to, the bakers? They got bakers, right around the block. Why do you always want to go there?
And you get that song on the radio that at first you heard and you fucking hated it, and after you heard it 50 times it grew on you, and now it's your jam.
You see the good in it.
I think science has proven, I'm sure you're aware of this. Right. I know Arash is of the video. Like you can make a video for yourself of your what is it? Your the things you repeat every morning.
Masturbation.
Positive affirmation.
Yeah.
Positive affirmation.
Positive affirmation.
Right. So
positive masturbation.
Either way, I guess.
None of that negative jerking.
It could be in video too. But the video is basically like a commercial.
Yeah.
Like a Curtis King commercial.
Okay.
That you watch every morning.
Yeah.
And they've shown science behind it, that it starts to shift your mind. And that's not really arguable because it's happening every time you turn TV on.
It's power and
every time you turn on TV.
I can make a video of myself?
You can have a video. Yeah, well, you're a filmmaker, so you can just make it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's basically...
Put all kinds of editing in it.
Well, it's just images that you want to see, images that you like, and just affirmations of like, I'm selling Arash is awesome. Arash is... And if you watch that every day, it's going to work exactly like a commercial.
Right.
Because your brain goes to work on why these things are real.
Yeah.
I do that with
writing. It doesn't
writing.
know the difference. You know what I mean? It doesn't know the difference.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just I do that with writing, when you're with journaling. Just whenever I'm about to start writing.
Concept.
Whenever it's the power of manifestation thing. Like whenever you're going to write, and this is a really easy thing that you could implement right now, listener. If you're journaling, you should be journaling, by the way. Whenever you're about to say, I'm going to start this XYZ, say I've already started it.
Yeah.
I've already doing it. I've already thought about it. I've already put this into place. Yeah. And just start fucking doing it. Don't talk about doing it next week. Start doing it that exact moment.
Yeah.
If you're going to diet, put down the Oreo cookie that exact moment.
Like
start it.
I'll give you an example. The other day, every day since I came home, I've been high energy. I've been around this house dancing, clapping. I don't dance and clap.
Yeah.
Who are you, Curtis? I bought a trampoline. I bought 2 trampolines, one for shows and one for at home.
No shit.
2 trampolines I bought, right?
A trampoline for shows.
Trampolines for show. Not even at the show. It's about, and not even like during the show. It's about before the show.
Wow.
Because if I bounce around and I think it's called the lymphatic process that gets kicked in, I literally will release toxins and I'll just be a lot looser. But I feel so much better doing that first and then going on stage because literally like I think, okay, I'm holding the microphone in my hand. There's been shows where I feel like this has held me back or I feel like I can't fully give you all my emotions. One is partly because it's insecurity and it's partly because, you know, I'm holding the microphone, but now, like, I put the microphone down and I just start jumping around. And what I found even last night when I had the show, and I tested this out for the first time, is that the more assertive you are about it, it's almost like, have you seen a movie called Nightcrawler? Okay, remember how sure he was?
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal, when he interviewed his first guy off of Craigslist, and he was like, yes, I'm owner of a multi-million-dollar company, and this is what we do, and no matter what he said, it was always confident. The guy started believing him, right? So no different from that is that, not that I didn't believe in what I was saying, it was just that, you know, of course, I'm looking at a hip-hop audience that I've never seen move, and I'm like, you're going to move. And this is just my confidence in my voice says you're going to move. It's going to happen. Whether you do or not, you're not stopping. I'm going to get to that mailbox. I keep going back to that, but that's last night, that's what it was. And the more I clapped, the happier I clapped, the more I jumped around, I started just noticing those stiff shoulders started kind of getting looser. But I got 2 trampolines now because my energy is way too important to too many people. First of all, my family. Because if I'm low energy here, I affect everybody in this house. If I can keep it high energy, if I can always be there, all of a sudden it creates clarity in all of our minds of if we get into any issues. Like even now, like one of the speakers at the conference is named Joseph McClendon III. And one thing he says is you got to have attitude. And like, what is attitude? Anytime you feel confused or you feel like you can't think of something or somebody makes you angry, immediately start shaking your ass. He said, what are you supposed to do? Everybody was like, what? He's like, I said, shake that ass. I told you right now, shake that ass. And then what it does is it's just, you feel a physical difference. Even waking up in the morning and striking a Superman pose. Scientists have proven that it releases 20% more testosterone. Just standing there for 2 minutes. So now instituting that and understanding how much it has a difference on people, now I'm like, okay, we can 10x that. We can go even harder on that now. Now everything that I'm doing is like, I've learned a lot, but it was like, how do I institute everything that I've learned? How do I do it in a way where it's still, because what we really had to get changed wasn't, I don't need more information. I love information. I love to grow. I didn't need more information.
But you've always been kind of an open person.
But what I needed to do was start healing the real problems inside, which were emotionally, which were insecurity. Why does those insecurities happen?
What were you insecure about? What's like a daily battle of insecurity?
What? In the last few days, I couldn't tell you. I've literally I've been on. But before that, I think it was people not liking me. People thinking that I'm arrogant or cocky before they even get to meet me. I think it was, I don't know, like me not being able to sell people on things, because it's crazy because the buddy of mine that does the hypnosis, he made me do like 10 videos before I started doing my videos on selling this project. 10 videos, and I just had to do it off my iPhone. I would send him, and he'd be like, this is what's wrong with it. This, and this. And everything came back to me not being able to know how to close. So I started thinking about like dates that I used to go on. I used to hit them with so much sense of humor, I never had to close. Right? And I'm not saying that's a braggart thing. It's just saying that it's a real thing. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't get nothing. Nobody, right? You know, so because of the sense of humor, it gave me an opportunity, you know, to close without having to really make a strong close.
Because that's where your peak performance is.
My peak performance, and I never pushed myself any further. So now being pushed to there, now being, you know, that was one of my things, is how do you close? And that translates to not just selling products. That translates to, okay, I'm going to go into this show as Terry Dr. Jones, and I'm going to wear this mask, and I'm going to be this old man into the whole set, and I'm going to play this character. No, I'm going on stage and my heart's beating like crazy because I'm like, what if they look at me like I'm a complete idiot?
Okay.
I'm trying to play the role. Even like the whole Sinbad thing. There were moments where I only felt confident on stage. As soon as I get off stage or I'm going to the gas station, it's like, how do I explain this to somebody who doesn't know what I do? I was still insecure. Now it's like,
this is
so
who
what?
I am.
Yeah. So what? Like all of that shit I used to worry about was holding me back, and it wasn't even nobody else giving me evidence that it existed. Something I learned from that conference was that
living on stage, just like we were saying earlier.
You know what I mean? And
that's your living room, that stage.
It needs to be. The thing that I learned though was that whatever you focus on is reality. Okay, even when what you're focusing on is not reality.
Right.
If I focus
even
on
if it's not logical,
even if it's not logical, if I focus right now on my toe, I can find a tingling and convince myself that tingling is cancer. I might be having, oh my God, am I having a heart attack? I can. That becomes my reality.
Yeah.
So the same way we can hypnotize ourselves. That's what it really is we're hypnotizing ourselves with language, with things we say. Instead of telling somebody like, I think you were misinformed, telling somebody you're wrong.
Yeah.
That has that feels a different way. Right? You feel like, okay, what you mean I'm wrong? So we hypnotize each other with words because of the connotations of the meanings we give them. Me understanding that now, I'm like man, I come home and I'm like, what are we waiting for?
Right.
I see it. Like me visualizing me in 20 years in a place of my dream, me being there, and me seeing that person like smiling and crying back at me, the old Curtis, and knowing that the things that I'm doing is the right things, I don't have no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Even when somebody tries to give me advice, like that's what I was about to tell you. That's what the whole rant was about, was that somebody gave me advice that said like, pre-orders don't go towards the first day sales on iTunes anymore. So all that energy that you've been putting towards it is probably not going to work. And so I don't think it came from a bad place, because somebody that I've known, I'm not going to put them out there on blast, because I was angry. I'll be honest with you. I was super angry when I got that. And then I was like, who the hell do I know that has an actual relationship with the iTunes heads?
Yeah.
And then it was Daddy Kev from Low End and Alpha Pup. And I hadn't talked to him in a few months. And I was like, man, how do I look just calling him and asking for a favor, asking for information? And I said, because I had that doubt, Tony says, when my brain doesn't lead the way, I lead the way.
Right.
My brain starts trying to go into survival mode. No. So I just picked the phone up while me and my fiance were in the car listening to music, and I just called him. The phone didn't even ring. It just said, what's going on, Curtis? I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
Yo,
you were about to talk yourself out of it.
I was about to talk. I was in that process.
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. But when I felt that happening, I felt myself going low energy, because the thing about low energy is that that's where disease is caused.
Absolutely.
That's where depression, that's where arguments are happening. That's why all of this political talk and everything is low energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got people who are not happy with their own lives, and it makes them feel happy to talk shit about somebody else's entire race and make them feel inferior about
pain
our
causes
experience. Pain causes pain.
Yeah.
We hurt people we love, and love people we that hurt us. But I don't know, man. It's just one of the things where I'm just like, I'm elevating so high right now, energy wise, that literally low energy is the enemy.
Yeah.
And I feel so good. And I know now why all the times that I felt like a high from, like me and my fiance's first date, I felt a high. The music was just making me. And then that first time that me and her like get into some kind of dispute, and it's like, oh, the honeymoon is over. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's not what it is. The energy's low.
Yeah.
So me realizing that, and me realizing that I can't no longer sit in front of a computer for 10 hours straight.
Yeah.
Every hour. I know it sounds excessive, but every hour these past weeks, I get up, put on a song I haven't heard in years, start dancing. Or I look at the board and I ask myself 3 questions. What are you excited about? Then your mind starts going into it. As soon as you think of something, you get goosebumps.
Yeah.
I think of, what are you proud of? Boom, I have to go to work. Every hour, I got to think of something else.
Yeah.
Who loves me? Who do I love? How do I feel about them loving about me?
Yeah.
And it sounds probably really hipster to somebody or hippie to somebody who doesn't understand it. But when you do that, it has a physical effect on you. And it causes you to go back into your work almost as a different person.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting up and stretching and not being slouched over. Another important thing was if somebody was sitting in front of you, Chris, if you had yourself right over here in the corner, and you were looking at yourself and imagining yourself depressed.
Nobody puts Chris in the corner.
Yeah. If you put yourself in the corner. Okay. And what would you imagine your shoulders be if you were depressed?
Probably slunched over.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of hidden.
What would you imagine your head to be?
Probably facing the wall,
Up or
down for sure.
Okay. Think about how we do our phones. how we do our laptops.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on there and then had just this random negative ass thought that just pops into your head?
Absolutely.
I never asked the question why.
Yeah.
They just come to me and I'd be like, damn, maybe I do suck as a human being. But it comes to you randomly. And I was sitting in the room knowing this now, and I'm sitting on my laptop doing slouched over like I always am. And then I had the thought that, man, there ain't no way in hell you're going to crack the top 10. Do you know who's coming out that week? I said, who the fuck is that? I asked that. I looked up and I said, who the fuck is that? And I looked up and I said, oh, my head is slouched down. I'm looking down. So I looked up and I turned my TV monitor, who I have on top of my computer, and I just straightened my back out and looked. And I said, like, whenever you're, what part of this is your body? The
sternum.
Your sternum. Whenever you push that up into the sky, like it releases that 20% testosterone. I'm activating that.
Yeah.
So this is why I say this has been the biggest change in me, because it's not so much about me coming here with this huge speech about, oh my God, you guys got it. It's not about that. It's just I would rather people see it in the results and see that, like, I don't need anything from anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not here trying to, sell people on anything. But what I'm saying is that we've put the work in and the reward is on its way. Regardless, like, it's going to happen.
When I started making music, I knew I wanted to bow. Matter of fact, I knew I wanted it all. Not for the money, the diamond rings, or the cars, and not for the ladies, the shopping sprees at the mall. I know that sound crazy, but they all got flaws. I did it so my mama had to quit her job after 2 evictions, 3 repos. I got a vision, God led me to the peephole. Even though the people know I'm modest for an artist, and sometimes a little too honest for an artist. I used to ask why you always had it the hardest. I thought that I was cursed like a Blair Witch Project. 3 years ago, I took a risk on a sound click and made more money than I ever encountered. And I finally got a manager, finally got a PR, and finally had a strategy to make me a star. But November 27th, after leaving Merge Show, walking downtown Disney alone in my pea coat, I noticed a depression I suppressed inside. For over 30 years, made its way to my eyes, so I cried, man. Cause I was more lost than I'd ever been. The money and the fame, even though it seemed heaven sent, I felt better getting rid of all the evidence. I parted from my manager, parted from my publicist, hoping they'd understand I'm a man that was suffering, a man in pursuit of a purpose. I was nervous, cause how do I win in a game that's self-serving? Go figure. I read a book that changed my life that year called The Go Giver, and that was December. Now I'm back for everything that you owe, no kidding.
That's just where I'm at right now.
Let me ask you this, because I want people to, this is something that you've dealt with, and I mean, at this point, at least in my opinion, you're an expert on these things. Like, so for the artist specifically, when the artist is dealing with, let's just take something broad, like the artist is just dealing with fear.
Right.
What are some of the things they can do to combat that fear? Like stage.
Okay,
Stage is one of them.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what was the example? You said stage, right?
Yeah, like like they're having fear on stage. They can't,
well,
can't let loose. Are they getting close? Or are they feel? Every artist has felt this. I was just talking to an artist about this yesterday. She was talking about like losing the crowd and how hard it is to get back when they lose it, and then they start to see that she's scared and blah blah blah. How do they combat fear?
Here's what I would do, and I would do a very personal experience because from somebody else, it may feel like they're making fun of them. This is what I would do, and this is the most powerful thing that I learned in that conference. Another powerful thing was what he said is this: that fear, we have convinced ourselves that is our voice. Why? Because we're using our voice to say it. Okay? So we're saying, man, I don't know if you can get on that stage because shit, you know what happened last time. Last time you got on there, you lost them with that one song. Man, maybe you shouldn't do that once. You doing a new song? Oh, you shouldn't do that. What you do is you take that voice and imagine the most ridiculously high-pitched voice saying the same thing. Right? Close your eyes and imagine that voice and imagine now, well, you shouldn't get on stage because you just never know what's going to happen. And that laughing that you're doing, it's a difference. You're like, you don't know if you're, what if you lose them with this song? What if you shouldn't do it? It's ridiculous, right? You get all that, right? You get all of that ridiculousness. Now imagine that voice as a creature. You know, maybe you think it's some troll-looking dog, whatever you think. Oh, maybe imagine that creature now in black and white. Now imagine that creature in your mind pushing further and further and further away from you. Now imagine that creature disintegrating. Imagine the voice getting more and more high pitch as it gets away from you. Yeah. Immediately that does something to your brain where it's like, no, this is my true voice. Yeah. And then basically he would say, now talking to your real voice. Yeah. Because your real voice would say, I'm tripping about shit that hasn't even happened. It's like a detachment of this. It's a detachment because we're convinced that that's our true voice. It's not your true voice. That's a voice that we allow to influence us because all the stuff that we're eating, like I'm vegan now. I'm vegan. I want this clarity. I don't want to eat. I don't want to end this clarity. And I'm not saying that's the only way to get it. It's just I know what food does to me because I love food so much. Right. Food can take over me too. But food is made, and with its different kind of energy in certain foods. Like I don't want to eat any more meat. I'm good. And I've always thought about it because my pops was vegetarian, but I just don't want it anymore. And I know now the clarity that I have has been maintained. The energy that I have, the lightness. I asked a homegirl of mine who's like very spiritual. I said, immediately seeing me right now, what do you notice? Just don't even think about it. Not even physical. I mean, spirit-wise. She said, you look lighter. Yeah. So you feel lighter. And I said, she said, even when I saw you on stage, it just feels lighter. I said, that's all I had to hear. Yeah. That was it. So for that friend, I would tell her to do that. Like my sister,
your skin looks clear.
I was just going to say that. I was amazing. Like, if anything, you can definitely see it in your skin.
You look like a photo after photoshopping.
I look like the Snapchat effect. Yeah. I mean, no, I would tell her to do that. I had to tell my sister that. My sister called me angry and wanting to beat somebody up. And I said, look, imagine that voice right now. And why do you want to beat them up? Well, because they're talking about me. and they're just saying so many mean things about me. Yeah. And all my friends know about it. And I said, how does it make you feel now? And I'm like, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Because it's not you. Yeah. That's not you. You convinced it because you're using a voice that is authoritative in your head. Right. And it's saying, you need to go fuck them up because nobody talks about us. So like, yeah, I'm right. But it's like, no, man. People are always talking about it.
That's such a great exercise.
But that works for me. It might be something different for everybody, but that works for me. And it can be anything small, like people's all going to come report your car or whatever. And, oh, no. What if I don't find the money to do it? Yeah. Oh, man. It just, you end up saying that's not your real voice. Yeah. Your real voice is like, okay, then I have to do something. Okay, let's find something to do. That's your real voice. You got to think your mind is programmed, prehistorically to survive.
Everything.
Right? Everything. Saber-toothed tigers up until now. You know what I mean? So
a fear of change is deeply embedded in all of us. And like the level that we're judging, the other half of the country for having voted for Trump. Right. Like that, a lot of that does come from this thing that is a very primal part of who we are. Yeah. It's in every single one of us, without a doubt. Like that. Yeah, because it used to be that like, you want to set down your house and you set up your family and then like somebody's like, yo, let's go see what's over that hill. Like, I don't know, man. Last time somebody went over that hill, they got eaten by a tiger. Yeah. That has historically not served us well to go over the hill. This is a normal part of human nature. That practice is like, that's pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah, that was it for me. That was it for me. I was like, I feel so stupid complaining about this now. Because it's like, that's not my voice. Yeah. Because your voice your true voice is that of productivity. Because you know what you are at your greatest. That's why the only reason why you would go to a low is because there's another book I was reading called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olsten, or Jeff, I don't want to get them mixed with the pastor, but he was basically saying that if I told you to reflect on your past, where does your head immediately go? If you just had to, if I said, close your eyes and reflect on your past, where would your head go?
Probably some of the things I missed out on.
Not what. Where would your head physically go?
Oh, like this?
Down.
Mine goes like this.
Yours goes down?
Yours goes down.
Yours goes up?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it goes down, your mind starts processing.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'm sorry. I messed the example up. But basically what I'm saying, when you think about your future, if your head goes down, that means you're still thinking about a lot of things in the past. But when you look up, that means you're thinking about what's to come to you. They've done scientific.
I literally took a psychology class where they studied. We watched videos of people who were lying in court.
Yeah.
So when they go down and to the left, they're trying to come up with something.
They're trying to process.
Yeah, they're processing. Yeah. Whereas if they go up, they're actually trying to discover something. And it's been proven many times that's actually what happens.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. And I'm just saying, like, just me now reading that and understanding that is why. Think of your future. If your head goes down, you're thinking about all the things that, you know, you've missed out on. You're probably thinking about, like, man, it would have been different had I changed this. Now I'm like, that voice technique, no. That voice technique and then me visualizing the future lets me not have any doubt about the future.
Yeah.
Because what he did was, the third day was probably the most painful day because I broke down the third day. Yeah. As a man, I can say I broke down.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one. Like, you talking about like 10,000 people all having their own battles. Like, you literally, because he said, I want you to make the sound that you can think of when 10 years from now, you've procrastinated and did the same exact thing you've been doing already. He said, what does it look like? What does your face look like? What does that disappointment look like? What does that pain look like? Think about 20 years from now. You're still around. You still got to deal with the disappointment of 20 years that you let go down the drain. Ooh. He takes everybody through it. He says, make the sound. It sounded like demons were in there.
Yeah.
Because people are just letting out all that. And he basically gives you the positive visual, and then he snatches it away from you and makes you have to think about that one.
Yeah.
And then he makes you have to delete that whole situation from your mind. So it's a rewiring. But having that in my head is like, I have to go. And it's something that you can't teach somebody. They have to feel it.
Yeah.
You know, I can speak it as much as possible, and I would hope that somebody would see, like, I always felt like, you know, even from like a religious standpoint, the people who were most effective in getting me back into church weren't the people who were guilt tripping me.
Right.
Like, you know, God sees the things that you do. It was a person that was like, man, life has been good.
Yeah,
like,
they're just happy.
Full of life.
Yeah.
You're like, man, why are you so full of life, man? I'm a church going man. You know, the God fearing man, and I love my family. And it's like, where you go to church at? I would rather, to me, that's more inviting than somebody who's like, you are damnation, you're messing up, you're doing this, and that doesn't do nothing for me.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's most effective, and I'm hoping that people see the light in me, and, you know, don't get, like, a lot of my peers, I don't want them to look at me and be like, man, he lost his mind, or or be jealous or anything like that. I want them to look at that and say, this is accessible to you right now. Right. Because he had us all sit in that hypnosis and think about what it would be like for all the shit that we're all working on. For the reason why you guys are doing this podcast and building up the websites and all the things you're doing, all the stuff you're doing it for is an end goal. You see it in your mind.
Right.
But if it's not a level of fulfillment along the way, you can have that happiness right now of having those things.
Right.
Literally closing your eyes and sitting here and visualizing it and touching a wall, you can imagine that that's a wall that's made of gold, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change doesn't change your happiness.
Yeah.
Do you, when you visualize your future, are you thinking about, like, the house you're living in? Like, is all of those details are there?
Detail. I'm thinking about the doorknobs.
See, I have a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
I can't figure out, like, that's always been the thing that I've had the hardest challenge with. Like, I can't really see what it would look like.
Maybe it's not the house as a visual for you. You know, maybe it's, you know, somebody that a family member or somebody that you love being somewhere that is the epitome of success for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's skydiving somewhere. Maybe it's whatever. Something that's the epitome of success to you, or what it would look like to not have to worry about, you know, this the mundane stuff.
That makes sense, because for you, like, houses aren't that's not a thing for you. You don't care.
Because some people already have it. It doesn't mean anything to them. They already have it, so they have to go somewhere too.
So what do you care about, and what is that?
The visual, you know? I've told you about this many times. I've had this very specific visual in my head.
You're not going to be a Chippendale dancer.
No,
no matter what.
The other one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That one I'm already doing on set.
I'm living that dream.
Yeah, living that dream. No, so for like years, I've had this exact same visual in my head that I don't know where it came from, but it just does not seem to go away, of me and Chris and Eddie at a bar in Sicily.
Oh yeah, you've told me that for a long time.
For years, this visual has existed.
See?
That's a good one, though.
It's very strange. I just know, like, I'm in there. I'm coming in, and you're already sitting in there.
Yeah,
like, you guys have already ordered a drink, and I don't know what we're doing there. but we're at the
But you're
bar in
happy.
Sicily.
You gotta
Yeah.
take it there.
Yeah.
You gotta take it there. I was in a dentist. The first time I went to the dentist, I was terrified even as an adult. It was the first time I really went to the dentist as an adult. I mean, as a kid, I had my caps and all of that, but as an adult, I was terrified. You know what I ended up doing? As he was drilling my teeth and going into the crevices and it was painful, I did this without even knowing that I was doing it. But what I did was I closed my eyes and I imagined that I was on a beach. It was years ago. I was on the beach and I imagined that Sade was feeding me grapes.
Nice.
She was talking in her accent and she was like, how does the weather feel? And I'm like, it feels great, Sade. And I imagine we were
I like
having
that you called her
coffee.
Sade.
I called her Sade. Yeah,
She's feeding your grapes?
she's feeding me grapes, and I had
no ordinary
she's singing
grapes.
to me, right, and I'm sitting there, and we're and I think it may have been like sort of the same scenery that you would imagine in Sicily. Right?
Yeah.
It was somewhere who wasn't home. It was like France or somewhere, and so I'm imagining us having coffee by with the water coming in, and I'm just like, it's not something sexual. We're having a conversation, like, well, we really. And I wake up and it's already done.
Yeah.
And it's like I was fully awake, but I mean I came back too, and it was like, oh, that's over with.
Yeah.
So
you went there then.
I went there, but I didn't know that was visualization.
Yeah.
I just saw it in the movies.
Yeah.
Now I know that's what it is, and I can literally have the because it's not happiness that you get from achieving those things, because you're already fulfilled. That's what got you to where you're getting to. Is literally like these are just the side effects, or not a side effect, but the byproduct of all the work that you've been doing. But if you find that fulfillment now, you know, he always uses the example of Robin Williams, how that, you know, dude was, he wanted to have his own TV show. Boom, he does his own TV show. He wanted to have, you know, his own stand-up comedy on HBO. Boom, he did that. Then he said, you know what, I want to win an award for me being a comedic actor. Cool. He said, you know what, I want to win an award for being a serious actor.
Yeah.
He gets it, right? Achieves all that, and then at the end of his life, he hangs himself.
Yeah.
He says because somewhere down the line, he was wired to believe that achievement meant happiness.
Yeah.
So,
and that wasn't giving it to him.
he had everything. He had a family that loved him. He had all of this. And and he says when he goes around the world, he asks people like, how many of you guys loved Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Not like, loved.
Yeah.
Hands go up all around the world, Asia, and everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
He said, but he still hung himself because he believed that achievement equaled fulfillment.
Yeah.
So he kept achieving, trying to scratch an itch that he couldn't get to.
Right.
Not realizing that had nothing to do with it. People can say it's the mental problems and all of this. You can say everything you want to say. Say it's disease. Yeah, but the disease is caused by low energy. The disease is caused by putting the focus in different places, when in those 6 needs, he probably had a need for, you know, significance. That's why he wanted to make other people smile.
Yeah.
Love and connection. That's why he wanted to make other people happy.
Yeah.
But for himself, he wasn't, you know, really getting.
He was neglecting it.
He was neglecting himself.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like that's what I was getting closer to. So where it was crazy, because as I saw myself becoming more visually successful, I alienated more and more people. But it wasn't real success, and I think they could feel that. Even if they didn't understand it, they could feel it. So I'm looking at my social media numbers. I remember talking to my management at the time. I was like, yo, do you see this? Like, I'm dropping from, not to make it about numbers, but I'm dropping from like 200 something likes or whatnot to 40 on a picture of me and some high profile artist. They stopped caring. No, you just in your head. You're in your head. And then it's like, no, this is not real to them. I'm trying to sell them a lifestyle. I'm becoming one of them now. One of the people that they will support me because I'm not them. I'm the anti-hero. I'm the Napoleon Dynamite of this industry. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that's not supposed to make it. So that being said, it's like, this is against my own nature. People see that in the way that I'm talking like folks that are out there because I'm around them. Fast forward now, and it's like, people know it's a different heart. They know it's all me now. And I think that has a different in how they consume it. Exactly. So yeah, big difference.
Do you think now, like when you're in public, and obviously, you know, you've picked up a lot with even just like the last 4 days, but generally now when you're in public and you feel, because our industry's littered with people that are not that happy, you know what I mean? Or they're, like, it's funny, I just met somebody the other day. It was like a younger guy, and they were talking about like their plan, right? Like, here's my plan for the industry. And it was so Suge Knight-ish that I was like,
low energy, but yes, low energy.
Yeah. But and they were placing so much on like, man, you know, you gotta just fake this thing and fake that thing, and nobody's gonna know. You can't be afraid to step on people, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, whoa.
Yeah,
That's the 48 laws going run rampant through hip hop.
And I'm sure you know at this point, I mean, I've literally told Arash this on this show, like nothing irritates me more when I see somebody trying to use the 48 laws on me. I'm like,
if you couldn't see my eyes, just roll, guys.
Yeah. Because you can literally see, like, some of it's like, it's just like quoted right out of the book, and I'm like,
they sit there. Yeah, I'm about to say they sit there and quote the book, and then try to do it to you the next phone call. I just said you tweet that rule. Like, how stupid do you think I am?
Yeah,
you know, hip hop is like, this is what it feels like to me. It's still going through this growing pain right now.
Yeah,
where like we are at like a gray area intersection of like the old guard, which was all about the 48 laws of power and like domination and overwhelming competition, right? And then like this newest generation that's coming in, the shift that's happening, I feel like hip hop's like a little behind on this, because you see it happening in the rest of the world. Like we're moving towards positivity. Like and the frame of reference that I have is that, of course, like I'm active in the Burning Man scene, and also like the hip hop scene. The burner scene, whatever sort of art I put up, you know, podcast, whatever, immediately there's tons of support. Like, let's share this, like this. Like, because the general thought process is like, it's not taking anything away from me to like this.
Right.
It's a mindset of abundance and not scarcity.
Right. Yeah. If you're not hurting the world, like okay, that's cool. Like, you're doing a headstand. I'm not going to do a headstand, but like, I'm going to like that shit because that's dope that you're doing it. Yeah. And you're not hurting anybody by, you know.
You seem happy.
Yeah. Good for you.
Don't be doing no headstands. It ain't hip hop.
Yeah.
That's right. In hip hop, you're still, so people aren't like going out of their way to hate on it as much as they used to. And it used to be like, man, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Now people are saying things that are like not traditional, that are standing out. They're not getting as much direct hate, but they're not getting full on support either.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it's not support just yet. It's kind of like tolerance.
Yeah, because but you know what? It has the rest of that energy has to be purged out.
Right.
But it has, the only way you purge it out is not by brute force. And I think that's what has happened in hip hop before. You think about the regime change from Ja Rule to 50 Cent, brute force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think about all these folks that come in and they elbow their way in, and then they get elbowed out their own way, right?
Right.
It just doesn't happen that way. So I think what happens is the true change is going to come when people actually see proof. Oh, why do I got to give my value? Why do I got to share that? I'm too young to share. Why do I got to do that? Oh, wow. This multimillionaire who created this value over here, this Curtis King or this Noah James or whoever
got there,
and it's like, damn, there is another avenue. Because for me, all it took, you know, people don't realize how much power we have over our own moves and our own perspectives, literally by snapping our fingers.
Yeah.
One of the examples is you go to a funeral and everybody's sad. Everybody's just thinking about, man, I can't believe this person passed away. And then one person says, remember that one time we all got drunk and we went to Cabo and then he was like throwing up all over his... Yeah. That was a crazy night. Oh, man. Yeah, he lost his cell phone tonight. Oh, my God. Everybody's like different energy.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
How do we have the ability to do that in that room, but we can't do that with our own selves? We have that ability. So when I think about rappers who think so short-sighted, I think that what's going to happen is that more and more people are going to be purged from a certain generation of artists who were bitter because they got, it's not their fault, but they came in the game at a very developmental and a very bad time.
Right, confrontational time.
They came in the outskirts of the confrontational, you know, late 90s to early 2000s. They had to live through the bling era. And then the moment they were like, okay, this hip-hop independent push was going to go through, the internet came.
Yeah.
And then they got pushed even further back 4 or 5 years because they couldn't keep up with everything.
Yeah, because of the learning
curve. It was like, okay, MySpace. Okay, I'm going to learn this. Okay, wait a minute, we're not on this anymore? Okay, so they've been playing catch up. So instead of, when people don't want to change, what they do, they rebel. So there it goes. So then people go backwards into that, and then they rebel against everything and don't use anything at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's my alarm to eat, but yeah, no, you're good. But yeah, people go and rebel against the silliest things. And I mean, like even like, okay, Ninth Wonder made a comment where he was like, don't be a type producer beat, or a type style producer. Basically in the leasing beat community, a type style producer.
What's that?
This is how silly that argument is. In fact, you have to ask, usually when it's an argument, you're like, oh, I understand why people are mad about that. But there's people arguing with the Ninth Wonder. And mind you, when you think about the production game, there's two different businesses, okay? There's a business of the producers who go in, who are like the Timbalands and the Ninth Wonders. And these two worlds haven't always existed. But the Timbalands and Ninth Wonders who only go and get placements. They only work with the Beyoncés and the elites. And there's producers who literally make a living by leasing their production, they're not known, they have no credits, but they provide a service.
Yeah.
Right? Just like in any other industry. But for some reason, when it's hip hop, there's this elitist thing where people kind of talk from their ivory tower.
Yeah.
And, you know, Knife said that. He said a statement where he was just kind of like, you know, don't be a type style producer, where basically, you know, you get producers who, it's a marketing tactic to draw more traffic in by saying this beat is a Jay-Z type beat.
Yes, I've seen that.
You know,
that was big in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, it's big still. You go to SoundClick or whatever. Yeah,
right.
People still do it, but it's a tactic because it draws you a lot of free traffic. And I'm like,
Child.
I think he was making the argument of don't make a beat that's like another producer, which I agree with. Right? Because you don't want to do the style producer, but for somebody it may work. That's not me for to tell them not to. I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. But people took that as, what do you mean don't use that as a tactic? And they're getting mad. And I see people like who are more reputable in the leasing beat community going back at him and yelling and saying all kind of vile stuff. And I'm just like, he's not even in our industry. Yeah. That's like us caring. I mean, and people do. In hip hop, we care about. We're the most sensitive genre.
Absolutely.
We're literally the most sensitive genre.
Yeah.
Everything is racist. Everything is not racist, but everything is racist. Yeah. You know, Donald Trump says this about Little John. All of a sudden, we're up in arms about that. Who do you think of this? And we're all having conversations and interviews. It's not that. We're so hypersensitive about everything, and that in turn is what happens. So, for the sake of this argument, so we're talking about the producer versus the leasing producer. I looked at it and I'm like,
may I submit, by the way, real quick, the sensitivity is connected to a lack of feeling power.
Sure.
Yeah. The less powerful you feel, the more sensitive you are.
Right, because you want...
Exactly. Significance, that's one of the six needs.
Yeah. Hence the attractions of the 48 laws.
But and that makes you feel like a boss. Yeah. No, you haven't... And then I laugh because it frustrates me at times, but I'm like, there's so much more that we're capable of doing, but literally the thing that's stopping us is not major labels, it's not radio, build your business up. Especially in 2016, I know we're not still talking about the radio. Like, bro, you could do a video today about how to write 16 bars. Yeah. And I guarantee you, if you tag it the right way, title it the right way, just put how to write 16 bars, you will have 4,000 viewers that you didn't have in 2 weeks. Yeah. You're going to have views from that. People are looking for that. But guess what? There's a scarcity of information there. Yeah. So why not create it where you know it? Who do you know more than anybody else? Yes, you want to gain fans who don't rap and produce. Sure. But who do you know more than anybody else?
Rappers and producers.
You have been doing a trade for the last 10 years. 15 years. Who do you know more than anybody else? Yeah. That needs to be some sort of... It's almost like, you know, a professional plumber. You go to a convention, you want to hear from the professional plumber how to be a better plumber. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think everything is so territorial. Everything is so, you know, ego-driven that people don't want to, you know, people think people don't want to listen to them, but they'd be surprised how many people are out there who are like, I don't give a damn what my OGs did. I just want somebody to teach me something. Because now what you got is like, I ain't going to name a name, but legendary in hip-hop spectrum. I mean, like, early days of hip-hop. Yeah. He couldn't find not one young dude to teach him how to use Bandcamp.
Wow.
Right? Wow. And I know this because mutual friends, but I'm like, no, not him. And he was like searching for people like none of his young dudes would teach him.
Wow.
Because they're like, what you teach me?
Wow.
So I see that and I'm like, okay, do you think a culture is going to survive for the next 50 years off that?
No, it will not.
And I'm not even talking about hip hop. I'm just talking about any culture wouldn't survive.
It will not.
No. And well, I mean, that's kind of like one of the basic things for a culture. You're right. Any culture or even if we're talking about like ethnic cultures, like you have to start reproducing. Mm-hmm. We're not producing.
Yeah.
We're just like inviting more and more people. Like we're not even inviting. Like people just keep showing up to the party. You know. But whereas like we're not actually producing like newer generations the same way that other cultures are. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because you know, Arash and I have talked about this and we've pushed for this a lot. And you know, in our personal lives, we try to mentor people to do this. Like in hip hop, we have, and I don't call them professional critics because they're not. If you know what a professional critic does, they're not doing that. No. They're simply giving their opinion. They think that's what critics do. Mm-hmm. But we need that intellectual minds, like yourself, like other people, to put more into the debate than just your talent. Yeah. Like here's something that we need to talk about that we're not talking about.
Sure.
Like the absolute fact that if you're hating on somebody that is successful, There is no argument against the fact that you are simply doubting your own relativity.
Oh, yeah.
That is all that is.
Because you wouldn't pay attention. A
You would
successful
not pay
person
attention
doesn't pay
to it.
attention to stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Well, what did they say? I just heard, did you hear Conor McGregor said it beautifully?
What did he say?
He said, he's all champions. No. Challengers focus on the champion. The champion focuses on history. And I was like, damn, that was like,
hard.
he's like, so I don't
Yeah.
think about my opponent like that.
Yeah,
He's like, he's simply a part
what?
of my, I'm going to the mailbox.
I'm going to the look.
It doesn't matter.
I
if
always
you
put my
say-
hand up. I'm going to that mailbox. You can
Yeah.
give me all the things to worry about, and the reason I have that confidence now is because before we went in Firewalk, Tony was like, now keep in mind that if there's any doubt in your body right now, don't go. But you're
Yeah.
in a trance right now. Keep in mind, if you have any doubt, just go. But I'm telling you right now, people have tried to walk over it and take selfies and get all, and then they get burned.
Yeah.
One person, walked across it and tried to be funny, and his foot swelled up to a melon.
Wow.
He's telling them this, right?
Yeah.
And in any other state, I would have been like, oh, I'm terrified right now. There's no way in the hell I'm doing
Yeah.
No, I'm not. And as he's saying it, I'm like, that's something to be careful of, yes. But I'm not scared of it.
Yeah.
And then we're just walking to the fire. It's like, Kumaz, as a tribe, Kumaz. Walk across that, and it's like, it's over? I'm like looking at my feet like, oh, the water was colder than the fire was hot.
Wow.
So we get so focused in trans, and I look at it, I'm like, there's so much more I can do. It's not even about the fire, it's about the symbolism of it, and coming home and saying, okay, what can I not do?
Yeah.
What's stopping me? Okay, first check the posture. Because that's the thing he said. Anytime you have any issues, if you want to change an issue really fast, change your physiology and your focus.
Nice.
So change your physical body, because that mixes your cells around and all of that, and then change your focus, because if your focus is on the problem and only the problem, you're not going to solve the problem. And I think that's what a lot of rappers are doing, is that they're only focusing, it's such a micro way of thinking, because it is scarcity. They're not thinking about abundance. They think that, if I give this rapper any advice, he gonna take my fans.
If I give him just props.
If I give him props, he gonna take away from something. And I'm like, this is the reason why, I don't know, it's that short-sightedness is the reason why a lot of people that we think are successful are gonna write memoirs 30 years from now about how they had to fake their whole career just to live. And people will be like, no way.
Yeah.
You faked it, but by then it's gonna be like, oh, this is here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen for so many rappers that are like those guys right now.
Yeah.
They have an audience. People think like, oh, he's got to be rich. There's no way he's not rich. And it's like, nah.
They're not rich.
They're not rich. and for me, I am more focused on making actual results happen than the look.
Yeah.
Fuck the look.
Yeah.
I could not show up on Instagram for a week.
Yeah.
But I know that when I come back, the thing that makes me feel the best is that people now know when I go silent, I'm working.
Yeah.
They never be like, man, you think he owns some drugs or something? Like, hey, what's going on with Curtis? Like, man, you think he's alive? Like, no, that's not the question. What you been working on?
Yeah.
You got way too quiet. So I would rather that be the conversation than anything else. And for my peers, man, we got to stop thinking that each other is the enemy. We got to stop thinking that other people are stopping us from it. Trump ain't about to stop nothing. Yeah. You have a go. I'm going to that mailbox. I'm going to that. I don't care who's the president. I don't care what they say, who they put into office. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if shit actually changes around me.
Yeah.
I've made my mind up that I'm going to be in this state. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to have my happiness.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. You can take my house away from me, throw me in a can, whatever you want to do. I am happy, and I'm going to be happy until my last day. I will be happy. And I'm living in that state because that state is creating so many more entrepreneurial ideas. That state is allowing me to not worry about all of the static on the outside. I haven't turned the TV on the last 6 days.
Yeah.
For what? Ain't nothing on it. Even like I don't jump on my Facebook timeline.
Yeah.
Because why? Because you're looking at a visual purge of emotions.
Yeah.
It's just purging. That's all it is. People are like, oh, one day, I wonder if one day the purge is going to happen. That shit happens every day.
Yeah.
I keep reading the news and I keep waiting for there to be actual news. And it's just you're right, all emotions.
That's all there is.
Non-stop emotions.
How can I poke at you? And that's something Tony talked about too, is that's literally their job. That's how they go to one of your senses. They find one of those 6 things, not even a sense, but one of those 6 things that they know can get you. Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Could the DMV possibly be taking back a bunch of licenses from something? This at 10.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be next to nothing.
Nothing. You see, you got to wait the whole episode to get to that story, and you're watching all the other things trying to attack all those other needs. They know that.
Yeah.
Your need for growth. Could it be that Viagra does not work? Like, you know, I mean, like just stupid stuff. You know, your need for significance. Studies are showing that, you know, men that drink Starbucks get 10 times more dates.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I got to get some Starbucks in my life.
Yeah.
And like they're attacking all these things. Whatever's going to get you.
It's mostly true, though.
And they're taking the shots. That could be. No, that could be.
You know what's funny, man?
Shout out to
I'll share
Starbucks.
this
Thanks
with you.
for getting laid.
I'll share this with you. Like, I remember the first time I ever saw you perform, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're a phenomenal performer.
Thank you.
And I was like, that's dope, right? Like, that was my thought.
Right.
No bullshit. You know I wouldn't bullshit.
I know
you.
that.
I was like, that's dope. The person I was with was like, but I can't do all, man, I'm not going to do all that. Like, they literally said, I'm not going to do all that.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me at that time where I didn't know what they were talking about. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're not going to do all,
Like,
man,
holding the mic?
He's like jumping around and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, what are you gonna like? What is it that you're gonna do then? Because I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. You know what I mean? And I remember thinking about like the fear that people have of what was really happening was that person was asking themselves, that voice, that authoritative voice was going like, you can't.
I can't jump around like
you can't. That's exactly what they were doing. What are people going to think of me? You know what I mean? Like, that works for him. It's not going to work for me.
What if I jump up and my pants fall down?
Yeah.
What's going to happen then?
And that was literally what was happening, you know?
Right before your eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of anything you're saying, but I say that to say that, but even at that time, I was still in... I'm telling you, that snow cone example, the hand was cold, but the snow cone had been shaved off.
Yeah.
My bar was set lower because in my mind, as I'm dancing around, I'm like, you know, for certain shows, I'll be like, okay, well, it's only, 10 people here, man.
Yeah.
Man, this is, should I even be, all these doubts go in my head. And I start thinking like, oh, man, I can't pull nobody in. All of these doubts are going, and I'm like, I'm having this going in my own head. So we're literally exchanging our own negative energy, not knowing it. He's looking at me like, no, I can't do that, not knowing my bar is set this low.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'm going to that mailbox. I'm going to go to that mailbox, and by any means necessary, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can pull, you can rip my shirt off. I'm going.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to give myself confidence. I'm telling you with authority that I'm going there, and with whether or not you want to follow or not, guess what? I'm smiling this whole set. Last night was the first example of it. It felt so good to me. I felt like,
this was it Love and Light?
Love and Light.
Yeah, last night.
What a better place for that to happen at. But last night I said, I'm going to smile from minute 0 to 25.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, technical difficulties, and it was a little bit, and I was like, so it happens. You've been here before.
Yeah.
And I look at these folks who are sitting there, I'm like, instantly I'm looking and I said, what's the temperature in this room? I said, y'all cold? Yeah. They kind of mumbling like, yeah. I said, cool. All right, I need you to come in closer. And I'm telling them, like, look, I say, this is going to be something you probably never experienced at a hip hop show before.
Yeah.
I said, but I need you to do this. Instantly, you start getting warm. Like, what the hell is he getting ready to do?
Yeah.
So I'm just warming you. If I can make enough of an investment, if I can push that needle from 10% to 15%, and then the next show go 15% to 20 to 20, I'm willing to take that. Not everybody's willing to do the compound effect.
Yeah.
But I understand the concept.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if I can get you warm enough to make you say, damn, next time I see a flyer with Curtis, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to sign up to his email list.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, that's my job now to make sure I do the marketing and the advertisement. But we can only do so much.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have to make decisions as a human being where they want to go. All I know is, I went up to the VIP area after. Noah was like, man, you out here giving people goosebumps and stuff? I was like, oh, really? They told you that? He said, yeah. They're like, they've never experienced anything like that. I literally did what Tony did to me, to my hip hop audience, and I felt like this feels right. It has to be this way. I got them in there clapping. Next show, I might have them do the wave. Like,
wow.
Why not?
Have you along that lines, have you seen Chesky Ramos perform?
No, I haven't.
Go see Chesky Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just along this, like as a craft thing, he's definitely at that place where, like, I've seen him. I've seen his live performance. He'll have people. He's literally I've been at 2 shows where he's had people sit down on the ground. He'll go sit down in the circle, and it's such a mastery of control of the audience, where I always tell people, if you're working on your own thing or whatever, like, you're going to get something out of this.
Right.
Because you can see where he's at. Like, he's nowhere but present.
Right.
Like, literally, like, I know him really well. He's a good friend, an amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's on stage, he's just there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's there 100% present, and he's in everybody's, like, psyche. I've seen people cry.
Yeah,
like, people would just, like, break down and cry. In San Diego, he had 2 people come to the show that got married at his last show.
Nice.
They were just like, we just want to be married around great energy. And we thought this was, and I was like, if that's your legacy, that's a pretty fucking dope legacy.
And I think that's a show that you want to go to. You just sold a show for him.
Yeah.
For somebody who's like, yo, next time I see that name, I'm going to go, because at the end of the day, it's crazy. All of these artists and producer consultations that I do, they do want practical advice, and I give that to them. But most of the stuff they want is encouragement.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, they want, like, man, what do I do when I run out of ideas? They want motivation.
Which is sad, because that means how many people don't have that, you know, and you have a need for it.
It's sad, but it's encouraging, because I'm like, you just need a friend right now.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
And you can do that.
Any of us can do that.
Yeah.
You can be a friend, especially if you got an artist that you know right now is 14, 15, and he's like, man, I don't know how I could ever do the things that you did, Chris. Like, you be like, man, just do this. Man, how can I even run my own business? How can I run business, you know, and meet people who, dude, you just got to get out there. I've seen you do it with me. Dude, you just got to get out here and do that, you know, sort of like secondhand, you know, you didn't think twice about it. That does so much for people. There's a dude who came up to me, 2 stories I want to tell about people who were like fans of what I do. One guy came up to me at one of the last common grounds, and he was like, or at the Vibe. And he came to me and he was telling me how he was going through his stuff, going through a lot of like really serious stuff with his mom, and how he was really depressed and he didn't want to share too much with me. And I'm talking to him and I'm filling him up with so much light and encouragement, like stone cold face. You know, people like scrunch their face when they're crying. Tears just start drowning down his face.
Wow.
And I'm talking to him and I almost have to stop myself. Like, I was like, oh man. I was like, you good? He's like, I'm good. Like, he's still keeping the shell, his hip hop shell.
Yeah.
As I call it. Because, you know, even as males, as minorities, we still have that. We got to be stronger than anybody else. But he just broke down, but it was such a stone cold breakdown that I was like, I just put my arm around him. I was like, yo, like, I understand what you're feeling, but remember this feeling.
Yeah.
And remember this next time you start having any kind of doubt, remember that you had the guts to be a man. You had the guts to do that. That happened. During this campaign, during my videos, I don't realize everybody that's watching, because everybody doesn't comment on YouTube.
Sure.
Right.
A guy emailed me last week. He said, my mom had to make this email for me. He said, I was interested in getting your FL Studio program, but I'm blind. I'm blind. My mother had to make this email for me. I hope we did it right, but here's a screenshot of your Jubilee project. I can't wait to hear it. Sends me a picture of the screenshot and like the Apple picture-in-picture on the laptop, and you see it, like he's like, you know, you see him, the white in his eyes. I'm just like, I don't know, like for me, that gives me more fulfillment than my favorite rapper tweeting me back. Or telling me like, you're really good at what you're doing. I don't need Jay-Z to tell me I'm good at what I do. I need to be so empowered that my energy attracts the Jay-Z to what I'm doing. People call on Tony Robbins. He don't have to go. He don't need no references.
Yeah,
his work is the reference.
It speaks for itself, because they know what they're getting.
And that's what I stopped calling in favors. And I know for certain things you gotta play the game when you talk about the PR. But for what I'm doing right now, it's literally being run off of heart, spirit, and belief.
That's dope.
And it has to be that way for me, because that's the only way I operate to move me. That's the only thing that moves me.
Yeah,
I don't get moved by the money. The money might raise an eyebrow, like, how much you want to give?
Yeah.
Man, that's interesting, but I'm not giving away my morals for this shit. But I mean, that's interesting, though. I had to be moved by something that moves me. So now, as I'm sitting up there on stage, I'm like, I used to demand my crowds to move. For what? They ain't got to move for me. Because the music is dope. Give a shit about you, Curtis King. And it was not coming from an arrogant space, but an insecurity space. Like, give me love, give me significance, make me feel like my music is dope. I want to look like those guys who have crowds that, you know, I can jump into it. And it was for the wrong reasons. Now, last night, I told them to move, but it was like, I said, put the mic down and just start jumping around like a fool. And just start clapping your hands. And I started clapping, and the more authoritative I got with it, the more I wasn't like, come on, guys, clap. they started doing it.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it's going to be like for somebody who knows the music already, falls in love with the music, and says, damn, I love his energy with these videos and these interviews. What is it going to be like at a show?
It's going to be
and
church.
They're ready for it. Oh, it's going to be church. It's already church. They already call me Pastor King or Pastor Kurt, whatever. Like, they used to joke that I used to get mad because I was like, is it because I got a Southern accent and I speak inspirationally? And they say, no, it's just, you just got to pass it. And I'm like, but irony in that as well is that there was a pastor that I went to go talk to because I wanted to see if there was any kind of like, work opportunities. It's a big church.
Yeah.
And a mutual friend of me and the pastor is a rapper, a Christian rapper. And he set it up. It was a great meet. I wanted to see if my mom could possibly have an opportunity because my mom's been in church for the last 40 odd years. She played piano for 35 years. I went there for her. He's talking to her and he's being prophetic. And everybody doesn't believe it, but I believe it. He's being prophetic to her. Then he changes the attention to me. And people don't know this, but for a minute, I was probably going to become a Christian rapper.
Yeah.
I was like that close to doing it.
Yeah.
He turns the attention.
How long ago?
This is probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
2 years ago. Not even, about a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Close, about that same time, whatever. But he turns his attention from my mom and looks at me and he says, You're a forerunner. I said, what do you mean? He says, when it's time to go, right? And I said, yeah. He says, you got an unbelievable energy in you. And he said, where you're at right now is where you need to be. You need to be a light over there.
Yeah.
He says, you don't need to be over here. The people are already lit up over here.
Yeah.
He said, your role, he said, I don't know exactly what you're trying to do, but he says, I don't know your story, but I think that wherever you come from, where me and you having conversations at midnight, at the bar, at the Vibe, me being like low energy, like, man, I just want to change this shit. I'm tired of That's where I was like, I'm tired of all of this stuff in here. He was telling me I need to be over there as a light. Yeah. Because they need it more than the folks that already have the light.
Sure. Yeah.
Telling me that, I got even more purpose on top of my purpose.
That's dope.
So now when I go to these shows, I'm not going to these shows trying to have the best show. Fuck that. I don't care about that. Like, I know that's hip-hop. Fuck that. I don't care. I want to make sure that these people who come out here and they spend time away from their jobs, away from their families, away from the things that they want to do, this is still minutes of their life. Yeah. They don't owe that shit to me. But I'm going to make sure if you come here, you're going to be moved with something. You got to. Yeah. You don't come here and feel like you're more dead than when you came here. Hell, not during my set.
Yeah.
That's how it is now, but it wasn't always like that. I didn't have the authority to take that stance. But now, like last night, set it off, and it was a set that just went off perfect without a hitch. And it was just like, I'm smiling, everybody's laughing. At least and somebody tweeted it to me the next day, like, that set made me feel good.
Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah.
So
that's dope, man.
Dude, hopefully that comes to something else. But yeah.
Talk about record comes out when?
December 2nd, but it's pre-orders out. But
pre-orders out now.
Right now. Okay. My Jubilee Year. MyJubileeYear.com. I made a new URL just for that. But MyJubileeYear.com is going to redirect you to CurtisKing.com. Not to confuse it. You could pick whatever one. But basically, the project is out.
With two S's.
With two S's, please. With two S's. Thank you for that reminder. I'll be forgetting that people do that still. But 2 S's, CurtisKing.com. You can get the Jubilee Year link. You'll even see a few incentives if you're an artist or producer. So if you want free beats, or if you're a producer, you want drum kits, for $2.99, you literally are getting like what's usually $50. You're getting that for $3.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Whatever you want. You see something on the website that you want a beat? Dude, what would have cost you between $19 and $80, you can get now for $2.99, but it has to be now in the month of November.
Wow.
We're going to usher that in. I've even been thinking about the idea of the day of release still continuing the rewards.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So, but my whole December starting to get booked up with 15-minute consultations. People don't want they want the drum kits, but they're like, no, I want to talk to you.
I would probably go for that too.
All right, let's go.
So,
also, he did say, I'm sorry, before we started recording, that the Streets of Rage project that we talked about on the last episode.
Yeah, you made that baby happen.
That's happening.
In 2017, we're going to do an EP. My goal right now, and me saying this on air is definitely set in stone now.
Yeah.
But I want to do 4 EPs, at least one every quarter.
You got all my selections, by the way, right? I tweeted all of them at you.
You did. You did.
All the songs.
I have all your selections. I will go back through them if I need to. But I have all the
# Crappy King.
yes. I will find it then because I got Tweet Day. So yeah, no, we're gonna do that Streets of Rage, all sample stuff.
Yep.
Probably have old Gosh knock that out. I mean, I wish I could talk more about him, but that dude.
I need to get him on the show, man. Can you make that happen?
I can make that happen. Easy.
Okay, yeah, because I've been wanting to have him on the show for a minute.
Yeah, he actually lives in Redlands, and he got his own spot now too.
Cool.
Recordings, but I finally met a producer who I can give him my ideas, and I trust him more than I trust myself as a producer. He's a better producer.
To translate
Wow.
He's a better producer than me.
Wow.
Straight up. You don't hear people on hip hop saying, he's a better producer than me, and I can sit there and know that when I tell him, yo, I want to experiment with my voice like this. He mixed the whole project in Fruity Loops, or FL Studio.
Wow.
He mixed my vocals, and what he did was he took my vocals and he put certain things different places, like he was making a remix.
Word.
So you listen to these songs with this ridiculous sound design, it's because he sat there and literally made his little Picasso painting of just vocals.
Wow.
There was no rules. We don't have to worry about BPMs and radio stations and what DJ we get to play what. We ain't worried about that. We worried about making the best music we can possible. He loves West Coast music. I love West Coast music.
Yeah.
So like you hear a little bit of West Coast influence in the intro, the Jubilee Year intro. But we made whatever music we wanted to make, and that dude is he's a miracle worker when it comes to the beats. And he just makes my job so much easier.
Let him know we want him on.
Definitely do that.
Because I've what is it, that 7 degrees of separation? I have like a degree of separation with him because I've worked with artists that he worked with. I did Fame's video, which he produced. And I really want to meet because he's become one of my favorite producers. I like everything he's doing.
Isn't that crazy? He could never meet somebody. And have you met him yet?
No, I've literally never met him. Yeah. I've only heard his name over and over again.
Really humble dude too. Like he don't have the. And I think that's why we get along so much because that's my brother.
Yeah.
But you want to know something funny about that is that his cousin is Captain. You know Captain?
Yeah.
Okay, Captain worked on Fame Kills project.
Yeah.
That's his. And Captain's brother is Villain. Villain did a bunch of production on a Ticket.
Good Lord, they all produce.
I'm asking them to adopt me. I'm like, y'all want to adopt another producer in the family? But like, they're all related to each other and they all ridiculous about it. But it's just the humility in them, and it's not meekness. It's genuine humility. It's like I'm more concerned about doing the best job possible than I am about trying to outdo somebody or be better than somebody. And with him, it's just like I give him an idea. He's like, we can do that. Let's try it.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
So I'm instead of having an engineer that just tolerates recording you, I've had many of those.
Word.
Dude, let me tell you before we go on, by the way, last personal note.
Yes.
Since the last time that we had Curtis on, that's when I picked up the pre-workout and hit the gym harder.
Come on.
So I don't know if you noticed how much weight I lost.
I have.
I'm feeling fantastic.
You got the sleeveless shirt.
Yeah. Flexing on everybody.
Yeah.
Feeling real sexy right now.
Feeling great.
But did that make a difference though? The pre-workout.
Yeah. I mean, basically, like my experience now working out, like I, wake up in the morning, do a pre-workout, like go run, go do November Project.
Yeah.
Was a workout group I meet up with.
Okay.
And by the way, side note, November Project does that kind of same, the thing that you were describing that you do at your shows, they do it in their opening. Like before we start working out, we just kind of bounce up and down. We do something goofy. They would like turn to your right, give them a huge hug, turn to your left, give them a high five. So we get that going before we start running.
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me going. And it's pretty much become the same, if not just as fun as popping a Molly and going to a show. Really, I'm feeling
fulfilling the same thing. Yeah, you're fulfilling the same thing, but you're doing it for something productive. Like I told my sister, I was like, right now you're angry at somebody and you want to do something crazy. I said, if you drop that into a bunch of sweat droplets inside of a gym, at least you know it's going somewhere that's productive towards you, and you're still getting energy out the same way.
The energy's coming regardless. Just aim it in the right direction.
Just aim in the right direction. You can end up making, and I always talk about the power of dopamine.
Yeah.
And the power of if you were able to harness the things that spike your dopamine off, if you're able to harness that into something like, for somebody it may be shopping. If somebody gets a crazy spike of dopamine to their brain, which is, if you don't know, it's a chemical that spikes off in your brain. For your listeners, I know y'all know, but for your listeners, it spikes off in your brain, and basically it's what we're driven by this. So for some people it could be a drug, for some people it can be shopping, love. For somebody, cheeseburgers. I give an example for somebody who shopping is like almost like nutting for them. It's almost like having an orgasm. If shopping is like that, harness your dopamine by making a YouTube about shopping skills and techniques, because guess what? At least you'll monetize that, and people will see you as a leading voice and professional in that. At least now you can harness that into success. I think about a billionaire. I'm like, you think a billionaire is not, his dopamine doesn't spike off by seeing his numbers quadruple and triple?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And he looks at that and he's like, 100,000.
That's what the addiction is.
200,000.
Just a number on a screen.
Number on the screen. Maybe that's what it does for them, and they'll literally, their mind will go into whatever. The billionaire is driven by the same thing that drives a crackhead. If a crackhead says, okay, well, if I gotta get some more crack, I gotta go steal a car. I don't know anything about stealing cars. Well, shit, I'll figure it out. And they come back with a full-blown car. How does somebody have the ability to come back with a full-blown car and you know, not have the ability to go get a job? It's because their dopamine is in more control where they're at right then and there. That's what the drive is. And I think that that's the same thing, is that when you understand what your dopamine is and what drives it,
and harness it
in some way that's productive to you, you're a force to be reckoned with. That's why I listen to producers. I'm like, producers got to stop listening to other producers and being like, man, I'll never sound like this person. You're not driven by the same thing he is. He may be an asshole about snare drums, and he'll sit there and he'll mix the snare drum for 45 minutes, and that'll be the harness, or be the anchor for the whole beat. Are you willing to do that? No, because you just want to sound like what his end product sounds like. You're not driven by the same thing, so you're gonna end up making a watered down version of his beat, and then you're gonna be discouraged.
That's an amazing point.
So you gotta find that shit. I mean, you gotta find that shit though. You gotta find what it is in you that you know, like, it's not just what you're kind of passionate about. Find out what spikes that. For me, like, literally solving a problem that I know I can solve. Right? I know I can solve that. It spikes dopamine once oh man, I got it. So if I can turn problem solving into something constructive instead of destructive, you know. Being a problem solver makes you an overthinker. And analytical about everything. You know too damn much, even about yourself. I used to have conversations with my inner voice that now sounds like this. I used to be like, man, I don't know if you're gonna be able to finish this project, man, because you real tired, man. Man, you coming from work, and how you gonna do all of it, man? You don't have the time to do this, bro. Man, people looking at you crazy right now. You sound stupid right now. Like, I would have those arguments with myself, and I would outsmart myself, because in my head, I knew the exact shit to tell myself that would get me discouraged. I know myself better than anybody else. But now it's like, you know, I give it that troll voice and move on.
Dude, the troll voice is amazing, by the way.
Best takeaway ever.
I'm so going to use that all the time now. I'm already using it in my head right now. Like, I'm already using it.
Don't forget to make it black and white, and to push it off in the distance, push it away, right? Let it disintegrate.
That's awesome, dude. Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing.
As always,
you give, every time you're on, the reason I love having you on is because you really are about giving value to people openly. And I think they always get a piece of that every time you're on the show, and I love that. I think it's really dope. There is no secret that your episodes get downloaded constantly and continue to keep getting downloaded.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know
that's amazing. You know, so dude, thank you so much. Once again, the date,
December 2nd.
But pre-order now. If you're listening to this right now, you can go to platformcollection.com. We'll have a link there for you to go pre-order it. Please do that. 7 songs?
7 songs.
7 songs. Title of the album?
Jubilee Year. Oh,
Jubilee.
you talking about the album?
No, the Jubilee Year.
Oh, the Jubilee Year EP, yes.
Jubilee Year EP.
Yeah.
There it is.
All
7 songs.
by Gosh Leotus. Yeah. It's myjubileeyear.com or curtisking.com. But yes, thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for allowing me to do my rants and everything, because this stuff, like,
they are not rants.
It is to somebody. Somebody looking at this. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not about to sit up here and do that breathing treatment, whatever. But I say this is that, you know, you guys are so important to the culture. You're important to people like me, because without a platform to properly express it and have the questions that you're asking. Not everybody asks these questions. There's folks that I'll go interview with, and they'll ask questions like, so how was the conference? And I tell them, I already know what their energy's at, so I'm like, it was cool. Oh, that's cool. So what are you influenced by? I'm like, I can tell you so much more about this right here, but you're already done with that.
You don't really want that answer.
It's like somebody who only eats a bite of chicken off of a piece of chicken. There's so much more meat on that bone.
I hate those people.
That's so annoying. That's so annoying. But thank you all so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Jubilee Year. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
You may now flush the toilet.
Play this every morning when you wake up.
Oh, gosh told me not to sing on this, but I promise you, I feel like mystical. Hey, come on, let me get this. Like, I don't really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. I don't really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. See, this is what I dreamed of. Would you believe it? That little butthead turned into a genius. Okay, you're Beavis if you wanna let my sister tell it. She's still my biggest critic, even when it feel compelling. But I'm hot now, and ain't no need to backtrack. Keep on if you catnap or keep up with the Snapchat. I be up at the ass crack, I'm down trying to find stacks. Plus, I tell my wife, you know you bomb with your fine ass. Homie, why you lying with your lying ass? Please tell the truth, man, I promise I admire that. All I'm trying to do is kick game like an almanac. If Maya moving on, well, please tell me where Maya at. Damn, Daniel, back at it again with them crazy ass verses, man. It's crazy ass ghosts. Bouncing like a Kirby through the mountains in a hurry. I was buried in these books and then I came up with a hook like. I really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. I don't really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. I used to wish I was a little bit taller so I could be a baller, but now I'm living good even though I ain't ballin'. They love me in the hood cause I keep it kinda honest. Lately I've been feeling super fake like a Tonka. Fake it till you make it, man, you're faking with your pockets. Fake it till you, man, that's the motherfucking problem. I pay for some YouTube views but never comments. These blogs don't love me, my dude, I'm an imposter. Just so I can hear from my peers, I got it poppin'. Just so I compete with my peers, it's kinda complex. Now I run around with no fear, call me Colossus. Man, you've been around for some years at every concert. I remember I was angry with you. You stopped coming to shows, stupid, blamed it on you. But guess who's home like the prodigal son? Feeling just like mystical with bottles of rum. I don't really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. I don't really got too much to say, but glory. I'm just trying to live my day to day, no worries. Glory, glory, glory. It's like the last sip of Kool-Aid on a sunny day. It's like the last scoop of ice cream when you're feeling down. Glory. Don't it feel so sweet? Say the children. Say the babies. Curtis King for president. Oh, Gosh Leotus for president. 2 presidents, 1 term. The Chill Palace. Now and forever. Glory.
I want to declare over every one of you right now, God is releasing you from debt into abundance. He is releasing you from sickness into health. He's releasing you from discouragement into joy. He is releasing you from addictions into freedom. He is releasing you from worry into peace. He is releasing you from struggling into His anointing of ease. He is releasing you from defeat into total victory.
Brought to you by PlatformCollection.com.